Hey, we are here with what are we here with? We're here with Death and a Madness. That's what we're here with.
I
And
definitely was about to say Lavender Shadows. It's been so long since we did that, but
yeah. Oh, this isn't full screen. It's showing up weird on the overlay. There we go. Yeah, it's been so long since we've done Lavender Shadows. I would love to return to that at some point, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. I think Josh was
If it
saying,
does,
yeah,
if it does, I'm willing to be an actual Finnish person with a real Australian accent.
yeah. So we're here with Death and a Madness, playing some Burning Wheel, and my son is waving at the camera.
you say hi.
You say, well, hi, Finn?
Yeah.
Good job. So, we are gonna do. I think we're gonna do a lot of Duel of Wits today. I think that's probably on the menu. So Alpheus is gonna be talking to General Spiridon to try to convince him to leave his comfortable retirement to go save a city-state that hates him. We're gonna have Joser trying to convince the people that their god isn't their god. Well, I guess Artos, it wasn't really their god in the first place. They're Sinians. It's complicated. And who knows what Maya and Avro are gonna get up to, but I don't think they're gonna be doing Duel of Wits. So let's go ahead and do beliefs and instincts and whatnot. Get started here. Alpheus, do you want to go ahead and kick us off? Oh, you don't have a first belief. You could write that now if you wanted.
I don't know what to put.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'm just gonna move one of these two up there.
Yeah.
I'll think of a third one between now and next time.
Well, yeah, go ahead and read those first two, and we'll see if there's like a gap that we could fill.
I feel terrible for getting Ben kidnapped, and I will do everything I can to keep him safe and return him to his mother and father and establish him as king.
Mm-hmm.
We need military help. Therefore, I will find a Cowardies general to help us. Can I just change it to I will convince General Spiridon to help us?
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell his name?
His name
is... I found it.
Yeah, there you go.
Another one.
Yeah, so you're trying to help Ben. You're trying to convince the general. I would think a third belief would be
Titan
about Titan,
still alive?
right?
I want to kill him.
Yeah, kill Titan or get him killed at the very least. Sounds good. Makes sense to me.
Can I just put that, or do I have to?
Yeah, I will get Titan killed.
All right,
works for me. Instincts and traits.
I always try to talk my way out of trouble. Always treat others of the lower classes with respect. Always ensure those I trust are lifted up. Traits: strong-willed, cramped hands, pragmatic, competitive, impulsive, broken in, catalyst driven.
Very good. Joser, who are you? What are your things?
My things. Well, first of all, Hagiel's power must be increased if his light is to pierce the coming darkness, so I will win the hearts and minds by debating Kalak.
Very good.
If I am to maintain myself, I must be aware of all the variables, so I will talk to Demetria's friend about assisting Ben Asher. And in order to advance my plans, I need a place of safety, so I will consecrate a tabernacle to thwart possible incursions.
Yeah, keep it safe from zombies.
Indeed. Instincts are to always pray for greater insightfulness before entering a social situation. If Thalia is addressed negatively, then I ready my knife, and never reveal the true intentions behind my actions unless they're related to me. Traits are rebel-rouser, well-travelled, cunning, and strange. Die traits are faithful, manhunter, weather sense, believer, vested, and a colon of incomprehensible diagnosis.
Very good. Maya?
I'll do whatever it takes to elevate my son to the place of prophet king. I will find a way to earn more funds.
Cool.
I will learn about the gods to fill in the missing pieces. I will start with learning more about Indu.
Yes. Mother in Exile. Very fun.
I am Alika's partner, and I will stand by him no matter what. I will help him build connections in Setkiss.
Cool.
Instincts. I will always put my family first, no matter what. Never back down from a challenge. If I meet a fellow performer, I will give them my assistance. Traits:
Cool.
Colorful, religious, ambitious, competitive, thick-skinned, mark of privilege, bastard, and glib.
Very fun. And last but not least, I'll read off Avra's since Carly does not have a laptop in front of her. I believe that with the help of Citus, I can stop what is coming. I will work with him to find answers in the Irida. I believe Celadon is meant to be my partner in life. I will assist him with his work in Nima. I believe a lady is not noble without a bird on her arm. I will find a new companion. Then we have instincts. If I have a task beyond my specialty, then I seek the advice of someone more competent. If I have a question, then I will consult answers from the Irida. If I meet a bird, then I will seek to determine its character. Traits: Your Grace, formalist, religious, competitive, careful, birdie talk, mark of privilege, dreamer, practiced precision, and driven. Very cool. So let's go ahead and start with Alpheus here. Chad is not feeling the best, so we're gonna get Alpheus's scene out of the way, and then Chad's gonna go to bed.
Basically.
Yep. So Alpheus, you are sitting in the tea room, right, of General Spiridon's house, his manor.
Yeah.
And he's probably just his servants or whatever have just brought you guys food and whatnot. Some what was it called? Appetizers, some snacks or whatever, and trying to find where is the sitting room. Yeah, there we go. I guess that works. So you're over. No, that's not a sitting room. These are all yeah, this one works. It's like a study. You guys are over here. So the servants have brought you snacks and tea and whatnot, right? It's probably wine and some sort of hors d'oeuvre. And Spiridon is sitting next to you or sitting across from you and Ben with a glass of wine swirling around in his hand, and he just looks at you, leans his leg up on his other leg, leans back in his chair, and then just says, "So, Alpheus, why in the gates of black dust should I go to Sinia, leave everything I have here, to possibly get killed by this witch, and for what? A city that hates me? A city that I've staged wars against? I don't think you've thought this through, son." Takes a drink of wine.
Well, to be honest, I didn't even think I would make it here to talk to you about it. So maybe I haven't thought it through fully. But what I do know is that Ophelia and her followers aren't just going to stop in Sinia. They're a danger to everyone, even you way out here. And the city probably doesn't even remember who you are, to be honest. But if you help us, they will do the opposite of hate you.
So he says, let's put it this way, Alpheus. How about you tell me this? If I do this, what possibly could be in it for me? I have everything I ever want right here. Give me a reason. And I think so. I think we're going to transition here into a duel of wits, which is the more complex debate mechanic in the Burning Wheel, where you go back and forth with different points instead of just Alpheus making one persuasion roll like he typically does.
Yeah.
I think we can get a little bit more involved here and go back and forth with some points. So basically, what I'm asking you for at this point mechanically is your statement of what is it called here? Actually, I'll just bring everybody to the duel of wits handout thing here. Your statement of purpose. What do you want if you win this duel of wits with Spiridon? What do you want him to do? If flying colors, no compromises whatsoever, you get everything you want, what should he do?
He will commit to helping Sinia overtake or defeat. What's the word? He will commit to helping Sinia to help us take Sinia back and establish Ben Asher as king and establish order and peace in the new fledgling government in Ben Asher's new empire.
Okay, so Spiridon will commit to helping Sinia and its allies take back the city and establish Ben Asher as king, ensuring order and peace as he begins his reign.
Yeah, I was just making a joke about Star Wars.
Right. I didn't even catch the reference. Let me go ahead and put this on the map here. Okay, so typically I would have little cards for the Duel of Wits stuff, but I realized that for some reason in this Roll20 game, I don't have the deck of cards, and I was like, I realized this right before we started, and I was like, I don't have time to put the cards in. So we're just using this handout here, and let's see. I'll make this smaller, I think.
To be honest, I still really don't know I don't know how to convince him. Like, I don't know anything about him still.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is going to be really hard.
Some of the points you've made already are good, right? Like, they don't remember who you are. Like, you don't worry about that. Ophelia's not gonna stop at Sinia. Like, those are good points and we can have you make those in more detail, like in the rolls here. So that's your statement of purpose. His is going to be like, if he gets what he wants here. Actually, that's a good question. I mean, mostly it's like, just leave me alone, but I feel like
maybe he'll take Ben or something.
I was going to say, he understands that Titan is trying to kill you guys. And I don't think he's going to like throw you out on your butts. So I think this is going to be his counter offer, right? His counter statement. It's going to be I will stay. I'll just write it in third person. Spiridon will stay in his manor, not to be bothered, but Alpheus and Ben will be allowed to stay for the foreseeable future with possible employment options. Right? He's like, yeah, you seem like a smart dude. Like, I could probably use you. We don't need to throw you out necessarily. I'm not a total jerk, right? Like, you seem like an okay guy. In Titan's after you. You just stay here for a while, you know? But we're not doing any of the Sinia stuff, you know? Okay, so the first thing...
Where is Titan? Did he leave?
So he was, like, left at the gate, right? And he basically looked at you, Alpheus, and basically said, like, you better be watching out for me because I am coming for you, sort of a thing. Like, so who knows what he's going to try.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the first thing we got to do is add up the body of argument stuff. So this is basically going to be the hit points of each of your arguments. Let me go to the section here. Duel of Wits. And I'm assuming you're agreeing to his terms here. Like, because there's options for in between of these two, right? But if you totally fail, right? If Spiridon gets all the rolls successfully and you don't get any damage on his argument, are you okay with just staying here?
Oh yeah, it's better than being captured.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then at least Ben's safe for a while before I figure out something else.
Makes sense. Okay, each side rolls their core body of argument skill. Add any successes from the skill test to the lead character's will exponent. This total is the body of argument for this duel. Let's see. This is more, intimate and personal arguments. So persuasion is obviously the skill that you're going to be using. So basically, you're going to make a persuasion test. You can fork in whatever you think makes sense here. And then Ben can probably add, with whatever his skill is here. And then you're going to add whatever successes you get to your will, and that'll be your total health. So we'll go ahead and do yours first, and then I'll do Spiridon's. So it's persuasion roll, and if you have any arguments for forks, that would kind of be generally relevant throughout the whole conversation, right?
Oh, I clicked on the wrong person. I'm like, I don't have those abilities. I think that I could fork in etiquette.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense to me.
And possibly bureaucracy, because maybe I can.
The thing is, he's not a bureaucrat, right?
Yeah, that's true. For sure, etiquette.
Yeah.
The other ones aren't. None of my other ones really.
Yeah, I think.
Perhaps town-wise, if it applies, maybe I know that.
I don't think so.
Ophelia is going to attack him.
No, yeah. I mean, you could maybe make some sort of link test at some point here to make some sort of thing like that, but I don't think it's gonna fork in automatically. But we'll go ahead and look at Ben's. I think he has persuasion, right? Yes. So we'll go ahead and he'll give you a die for persuasion. So I think you're rolling persuasion with 2 forks, and then you'll add that to 5 for your will. So
persuasion 2. Submit.
Nice.
5.
So 10 is your total body of argument. So I'll go ahead and write that over here. Got a 10. And then let's take a look at his stuff. He's not going to have any people helping him. That doesn't really make any sense. I don't know if he has a skill for this. I'm just realizing.
He loses.
Because he has his social skills are command and intimidation. Neither of which are applicable as the body, as the body of argument skills. There are specific actions he can take with intimidation.
So he would have to being learn.
Yeah, I think so. At least for the body of argument. So, because I can't think of I'm not
cool. Maybe we're good.
I'm not opposed to adding skills to an NPC if I think they should have them, but I can't really think of a good reason that Spiridon himself would have persuasion. I mean, he might have oratory, but this isn't really that sort of thing, right? You're having a conversation.
Is Ugly Truth one of them?
It is not. So Ugly Truth is a skill you can use in Duel of Wits, but for the main body of argument skill, it's the only ones that would make sense here are either Coarse Persuasion, which is a dwarf only skill, or Persuasion. Because he's not trying to interrogate Alpheus. He's not making a speech in front of a bunch of people. It's just a conversation. So I think he's not going to get too many dice here.
Well, and he's not really trying to convince me of anything. He's just trying to convince himself not to.
Yeah, and
to help us.
Probably the thing he'll get the most out of this is what will probably happen is you'll make a compromise, right? He'll get your body of argument down somewhat, but you'll eventually win. That's probably what will happen, but I guess we'll see. All right, test unskilled using will. 2 successes equals 1 point of body of argument. Okay, sounds good. All right, so 6 is his. He has a 5 will, so he does get to add that for his health. So he has a 6 for his body of argument. And then what we do is we do the duel. Oh, actually, there are many traits which affect the Duel of Wits. Be sure to consult any trait descriptions before the duel begins. Let me double check. That actually is a thing that he might have. I think I might have thought of this and gave him a trait specifically. Maybe not. Aha, stubborn. This trait adds +2 die to the character's body of arguments in a duel of wits. That contravenes one of his beliefs, which it does. So yeah, I thought this through. Cool. So his body of argument is actually an 8 because he's a stubborn old man. Cool. Okay. So now what we're going to do, Alpheus, is if you look at the volley stuff here, typically we would have like a deck of cards and we'd lay them down face down, and then I think we did this with fight in the Star Wars one we did, the Lords of Hatred, where we had like the cards and we were flipping over.
Yeah, you pick one.
Yeah, it's similar to that. But I don't have the cards in this Roll20 game, so instead we'll go ahead and you can see all of those actions there, right? And then we'll just go ahead and type them out in the chat. 1, 2, 3, and post them at the same time. So as a quick reminder for everybody what these are doing, point is like your main attack in a duel of wits, right? You're just making a point to try to like get his body of argument down. Dismiss is the sort of thing you do at the end of like on volley 3, where you're like, I'm definitely gonna win, and here's my last hurrah, like really hard point that's gonna totally dismiss all of his arguments. Avoid is avoiding, you're trying to dodge his verbal attacks. Obfuscate is trying to like confuse or misdirect. Rebuttal is kind of like an attack and a defense, so you can make you defend against whatever point he's making, and then you make your own point. Feint and incite are like, I can't remember what feint actually does. Do you remember, Josh, off the top of your head? Actually, it's right here. Using a feint, the speaker leads his opponent into a trap. He lures him to think he is discussing one point until his hidden barb is revealed. So it's good against rebuttal, feint, incite, and obfuscate. And then we have incite, which is basically just trying to get a rise out of someone so they do worse in the argument. Those are all your main actions that you can decide to take. And on the side here, Chad, it lists all the actions, and it says what skills you can use for those. So you really only have persuasion as like a social skill, so you're going to want to make sure you only do ones that you can do persuasion with. So for you, that is that's feint, point, and rebuttal. So those are the 3 you're going to want to do, because if you do anything else, you're going to be rolling something you don't have. So yeah, go ahead and you can type 3 different actions separated by commas in a row in the chat, and then I'll do the same, and then we'll post them. You're muted.
Oops. So point or dismiss.
Point, feint, or rebuttal are the ones that you're going to want to choose, because the rest of them you don't.
Oh, it's volley 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So I'm picking for attack.
So you're picking for you can pick any of the actions on any of these volleys.
But only one.
It's just separate. Yeah, it's just separating them in terms of like what kind of actions they are. But yeah, 1 for each volley. But yeah, you're gonna want to stay away from anything but feint, point, and rebuttal. And then I want to do stuff that he can use his intimidation on. So I'll look for that.
What is feint again? Sorry.
I guess
you
it's
just
command
talked about
too.
Feint is if you think he's going to like try and see what your point is and then fight against it. Otherwise, because there's only a few things that it's good against. Otherwise, you are left like defenseless, and he just gets 3 hits on you. Okay. And then point is if you're just trying to make its direct point. And what was the other one? Rebuttal. Yeah. Rebuttal is if you think that he's going to make a point, and so you wait for him to say something, and then you'll counter it. Yeah,
basically, A lot of this is like you're trying to guess what he's going to choose, and then try to choose options that are going to be good against what he chose.
Okay.
It's the sort of thing
I
that
got 3.
The more you do it, the better you'll be in the duel of wits, but as a player. Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to pick them now. He should be doing...
Yeah, because then things like point, no matter what you do with a point, you're going to at least have some chance of doing something. Whereas things like rebuttal or feint are like, if you think that they're going to do something specific, you can get like a free shot and they don't have any defense for it.
Mm. Just tell me when to hit enter.
Yep, I'm just making sure I know what I'm going to do here. He doesn't have a whole lot of options here for good 3 actions. Yeah, I guess this is probably his best bet. Okay, I'm going to do it. All right, let's click enter in 3, 2. Very good. Fun. Okay. So the first thing that happens is you make a point and he tries to avoid the point. So we'll go ahead and role play it now, right? So what is the first point you try to make to him? And he's going to try to veer off topic even to the point of sounding desperate or ridiculous.
The first point I make is that if Ophelia is not stopped, then your country's next, buddy.
Yeah.
Believe me, they'll kill everybody. Or enslave everybody.
Yeah. And I think he says, so tell me about this Ophelia. Is she really as dangerous as they say, or are you just a chump?
I might be a chump, but I watched her take control of a whole bar of like 50 men, and they started doing anything she commanded them.
Speaking of magic. Bars, you haven't even touched your drink, Alpheus. I'm not gonna have this conversation with you unless you're properly lubricated.
Okay, I take a drink and I say, quit avoiding the discussion.
I'm just trying to warm us up here, Alpheus. And then we'll go ahead and make the roll.
All right.
So you're going to make a persuasion test. And let's actually look here. So he's avoiding 2 point. So it's a versus test. So basically his successes are going to subtract from your successes. And if he subtracts all your successes, then you do no damage. So he's like defending basically against your point.
Okay.
So go ahead and we'll make that persuasion check. I guess I should be playing Ben in this instance. So I think Ben, at the end of that, right, he says, Sir, I don't really think that now is the time. In the way the world is right now, the way that everything has been going, you must have seen the signs too. There's danger on the horizon for everyone. I think you should take this a little bit more seriously. And so he's going to give you a die.
So I have 1 help?
1 help unless you can think of another skill that you have.
No, I don't think any other ones.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead and do it.
Base ob 0?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh man, that's bad.
Can I use my call on?
You can. I'll go ahead and roll his first, and then we'll see.
Okay.
See how well he does.
That was so bad.
Okay, well, as it stands right now, he's taking away your 1 success and nothing has happened. So if you do want to use your call on, you can. But like also keep in mind, like, it's up to you whether or not you want to use it here, but like it might not be worth it. I guess, well, actually, you have a bunch of failed dice. It might be worth it. Yeah, that's true. Because you know how many he has, and he doesn't have a call-in for this. It's just will he's rolling. Yeah, that might be a good option.
So I forgot how to do that.
So I would, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll just go ahead and... So go ahead and post that without the period. Okay, there you go. You can technically spend 1 fate if you'd like to like try to get 1 more success off of one of the failed dice there, but up to you. You have a bajillion fate, so honestly, you might as well.
Yeah, I'll use one.
So go on the fate thing at the top.
Remaining ob 0.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just whatever. Okay,
Nope.
so no extra successes. Go ahead and mark it. You spent fate in persuasion. But yeah, so you got 2 on his argument. So now he has 6 out of 8. So you have already won a concession from him, right? He will not get his statement of purpose. All right, cool. So then we have a point versus an insight, which is you're just both rolling tests opposite of each other. Let's see. Okay. So go ahead and make your point, whatever your next point is, and then
So
I'll
my
make
next
his.
point is that if he helps us, then all of Sinia will love him.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of how you respond, because he chose to incite, right? He's going to, with an acid tongue and biting wit, a character may attempt to distract or dismay his opponent. The speaking player must pronounce an outright insult to his opponent. So you said, the people of Sinia will love you if you go save them. And I think he says, oh, like they loved you, huh? I've heard a little bit about you, Alpheus, bluest robe. I don't think I want to be a part of any system, let alone Sinia's. You think a small man like you actually matters in a system like that? Sinia isn't worth it. Sinia deserves to burn.
Where does he live again? What's his town? What's his country called?
Kyrides.
Okay, so
he's just like on the outskirts somewhere.
I say, I may be a nobody, but Ben here is the rightful king of Sinia. And you said Sinia doesn't matter. Does Kyrides matter? Does Kyrides matter to you at all? Do you have anybody you care about here? Because if you do, then you should help me.
I don't care about anyone, he says as he takes another drink of his wine, and then we'll go ahead and make the rolls. So another persuasion from you.
Do I get a help from Ben?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think of what he would say. Oh, he has falsehood. I wonder if he throws that in. Trying to think of what he could lie about. Okay, I think what he says is you may be right, Spiridon. The people of Sinia may not love Alpheus, and they may not love you, but they will and they do love me. My mother has been working hard behind the scenes to actually, wait, does he know about? I don't think he knows about that.
Yeah, but he's lying, isn't he lying?
Yeah, but I don't think he would even think to like. I think it's interesting if he tries to like embellish something here, but I'm trying to think of what that would be. Because he actually doesn't know a whole lot about what's going on.
Here's the thing. I didn't even tell him he was going to be king.
I know. You're right. Yeah.
Literally, he found that out from Alpheus.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's okay.
Well, Alpheus probably told him some stuff about. Yeah, they've been together for forever. Okay, I think he does. I think he does.
No,
say
he probably knows, but I'm just saying I didn't tell him that stuff.
But I think he can say what he just said then, because Alpheus would have told him. So right, he says, My mother and father have been working hard behind the scenes to ensure that the people's spirits are enchanted, ready for my arrival. I will be the king that Sinia needs, and when I arrive, they will welcome me with open arms. If you don't care about fame or fortune, that's fine. But as Alpheus has pointed out here, you do care. You should care. About surviving the year. And you can do that a lot better with a friendly king on the throne of Sinia. And he'll give you a falsehood die.
One help.
I think the ob is 1 for this, right? Because it's just standard test. Is that correct, Josh? Right? It's just like against ob 1. Subtract the margin of success from your opponent's body of argument. The standard has test the ability listed with the action at the obstacle listed.
I think it's ob 0.
It's ob 0, yeah, I think
yeah,
it is,
yeah. Because
Cool.
any successes are subtracted, not just over the...
Okay, so you do another 3 damage to his argument, so he's at 3 out of 8. But he's going to roll to incite you, right? So the way this works, if he succeeds, then Alpheus wasn't phased while you were talking, but you're phased. So maybe actually the very last thing he says, just to like make you, because basically he's going to try to force you to make a steel test here, to hesitate. And I think he says,
so was I not supposed to roll?
No. These are separate things. So I'm just figuring out how his roll is going to go down here. I think the very last thing he says, Alpheus, to try to get a rise out of you is, you think Sinia loves anyone, Alpheus? You think Sinia could love anyone after what they did to your father?
That was not the people's fault. That was the king's fault.
Well, yeah, even if you like stutter and try to defend it, I think we'll make the roll here and you might hesitate, right? That might stump you if you fail the steel test.
Okay.
So let's see. Obstacle equal to the victim's will exponent. Okay.
Yeah, might be worth also just rolling another fate into it just for the lols for your persuasion as well.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so much
you could do that, Alpheus, if you wanted to spend fate on that roll you made.
But I already rolled.
Right, because any successes you get continues to put it down. He has 3 out of 8 health right now.
So what do I just roll a fate?
If you like to, basically you just have like 14 fate, right? So it's like not much point not doing it. Well, okay. That didn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna roll for him. He is going to roll intimidation. And I think the last thing he says is, you need to give this up, boy, before you get hurt too. And he's going to fork in his command here. I think that's probably all he has to work with, though. Okay, your will is 5.
He failed.
He failed miserably. He hasn't really been accomplishing very many beliefs sitting alone here in his manner, so I don't think he has any fate. So I think we'll leave it at that. Cool. So he doesn't successfully incite you, right? You probably do say what you said, right? Like you're just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like that was the king. That wasn't, that wasn't the people. Cool. And then the very last thing is you are doing a rebuttal and he's doing a dismiss.
So that doesn't make sense.
Basically, because dismiss is like a really strong point. So what he's going to do is he'll go ahead and basically just say, no, this argument's over, Alpheus, like, and then you'll rebut that, whatever dismiss he does, and then make a fresh point of your own. So,
okay.
So he says, when he doesn't get a rise out of you, I think he says, Alpheus, I don't think you understand what is at stake here. What will happen if you go back to Sinia? What I'm sure Titan has already made very clear to anyone who matters. Do you know who your father was?
Of course I do.
I can see in your eyes, boy, that you don't. Well, let me tell you something, Alpheus. If you keep playing games like he did, you will end up like he did, dead in a ditch with a knife in his back and nothing to show for it. Let's say I do come back with you, Alpheus. Let's say I do bring an army, if I can possibly muster one, from this God's forsaken country. We march up to Sinia, we win the day, and guess what happens next year? you die in a gutter. Because that's how these things go. Ruling a kingdom is a fool's business, and only a fool would get involved. And so, what is your rebuttal to that point? And then you make a fresh point.
I say, how dare you? You don't know a thing about my father. You might think you do. I don't know where you heard these stories that you just told me, but they're not true. I know him. He was killed due to the king's negligence. And maybe, hold on, maybe ruling is a fool's game, but somebody has to do it. Look at all the kings you've propped up, General. And then I say, so now I have to make another point, right?
Yeah, basically, and this is probably your final point, right?
Okay, my final point is...
Right, so you're like, Kyrides is in danger too, you're helping the world by doing this, right? People will love you if you go to Sinia.
I need another one.
Yeah. But you're right, part of the problem is Alpheus doesn't actually know Spiridon very well.
No.
So he doesn't know what buttons to push.
I'll just say, if he helps us, can I say, like, if he helps us, our countries will no longer be enemies or something? Or is that a lie?
Sure. I mean, yeah, probably it might be. If Spiridon, I mean, let's put it this way. If Spiridon actually helps you and he raises an army and goes and helps Sinia, maybe he just sets up in Sinia, right? And then, yeah, of course, Kyrides isn't going to come after him then. He isn't going to come after Sinia anymore.
So I'll tell him that. Okay. If you help us, then our countries will no longer be enemies, and who knows? Maybe you'll just live there in Sinia.
In peace for the rest of your days.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go ahead and make the roll. So I'll go make his dismiss first. Actually, wait, do you have to divide them? Yeah, okay. We'll have you divide your dice first. So when making a rebuttal, you must divide your dice between attack and defense. This division happens before your opponent rolls. So you have, I guess I should offer something from Ben here. Let's see, what would be the last thing he'd say? Yeah, he says, Alpheus is right, General. If I am made king of Sinia, I will ensure that I will give you what you want. You'll never be bothered again. You'll live out your days in peace. And yes, I know you're doing that now. I understand. But wouldn't you like one last hurrah? One last campaign to end all campaigns? You can be the general who saved not just Sinia, but the world, I think. Yeah, so he'll give a persuasion die to you. So that means you have 8 dice to work with. How would you like to split those dice?
How much health does he have?
He has 3 out of 8.
And how much do I have?
You have a full 10. He has not even hit your argument yet.
So I'll just put all attack. He can't beat me.
I think you have to put at least 1 in defense.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, okay, so 7 and 1.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So keep in mind, if you do that, he is making a dismiss, which means she's trying to attack your argument. If you have a good enough, like if you try to play it safe and you have maybe like half and half, there's still a pretty good chance you'll defeat his argument, and there's a good chance you'll keep him from actually damaging yours, which means if you do that, if your argument isn't damaged at all, you will get exactly what you want. No strings attached.
So then I'll do half and half.
Yeah, and another thing to remember is that he's using dismiss, and if he fails to beat you with this dismiss, you get a free shot at him next turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has to hesitate.
Turn, right?
Well, you
It
do
probably
another round
will
of
be.
3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It probably will.
Okay,
be, but
so
yeah.
what do I do? Just roll persuasion.
Yeah, so I think we'll probably just do the thing that I had up above,
Okay.
the like /R whatever, but just do 46 greater than 4. Just do that twice, right? It's for attack and defense. Okay, so attack, 3 successes, very good. That will defeat his argument, and he's not defending against you, so you do it right. And then yeah, good. Do it again. We'll see what defense is. Okay, not as good, but we'll see what he actually gets. He gets +2 dice to it for it being a dismiss. And he's doing intimidation, forking, and command again, and then that's basically it. Okay, so ob 2 for him. Wow, that was pitiful.
Sweet.
Okay, yeah, you win with flying colors. Oh wait, I forgot to add his dismiss dice in there. His extra. What he gets? Let me try that. Okay, so he does tie with you. What does that mean? You just subtract each
Well,
success
is Chad
roll.
allowed to use a fate right now?
Well, it doesn't really matter because it subtracts
It
2
does subtract.
successes
Yeah,
from
yeah,
his
yeah.
2
Okay,
successes.
so you're still good.
It's just
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So good job, Alpheus. You blew it out of the water. You got everything you wanted. 0 out of 8, and you still have an untouched body of argument. I think this is probably the best duel of wits that's ever been done on any of the streams that I've run. So,
Sweet.
but
It's what Alpheus was made for.
it's true. It's true. So I think what happens is, right, you get to the end here, and you've said all of this. Ben makes his heartfelt plea at the very end, and Spiridon just kind of like leans back, and then he just starts laughing, right? He just starts bust a gut laughing. And when he finally like finishes his bout of laughter, he just like, oh, well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Sure.
Alfie is my boy, and you too, Ben. You make some good points, and I'll have to be honest. I wasn't bringing my best. I think there's something to this. I may be a grumpy old man living in the middle of nowhere, but I still care about some things. I still care about. And he looks at you, Alpheus, gives you like a weird look, and you're not really sure what it means. And I think he's about to say something more, and that's when I think I'm going to make a roll. I'm going to make a roll for Titan to see if he could possibly have snuck inside the manor undetected and try to stab someone here. If not, it'll be a soldier running in being like, someone's attacking, right? So
better not win that roll.
But we'll see. Okay, so Titan is going to make a test. Stealthy, and he is going to fork in assassination-wise, climbing, because this involves climbing in like a particular part of the manor. You could probably fork in disguise, right? Changing his outfit just enough that at like a passing glance would maybe think he's like a servant of the manor itself. Let's see. For inconspicuous. And I think that might be it. Yes. Okay, so he's making a stealthy with 4 forks. And I'll go ahead and roll this, and then we'll see. Okay, so he got 5, and then I'm going to have to roll for Spiridon soldiers to see how well they do at spotting him. I don't know if they have observation or not. We will see. They do not, unfortunately. So
I do.
Oh, do you have? Do you have observation? Go ahead and check.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure. Let me check.
Either way, I'll still roll for the soldiers. And I'll give them some help dice because they're like multiple of them are helping
Oh
each
no,
other.
I don't. Thought I did.
I think you're learning it. Unfortunately, their ob is doubled because they don't have the skill. So we'll see. They got a valiant effort, but no cigar. So Spirit on soldiers are great and all, right? But they're no match for the best assassin in the kingdom. And I have to decide in this moment who Titan would try to kill, right? Would he go for Alpheus? Would he go for Spiridon? Or would he go for Ben?
I don't think he'd go for Ben.
Let me check. I may have written down a belief for him. Let me... Oh, where is... Oh, all right. I probably should have rewritten these beliefs for the session because these are outdated. It's like, I will ensure that Spiridon is brought to my cause. Ben Asher is my road. Oh, you know what? Actually, because his beliefs are this way. So his beliefs are Alpheus is a key piece in the puzzle, especially because of his blah, blah, blah. I will ensure that Spiridon is brought to my cause. Ben Asher is my road to success. I'll wrap him around my finger. He doesn't have a belief about Alpheus as like, he is a key piece of the puzzle, but Alpheus has convinced Spiridon that it's a good idea at this point. Obviously, Spiridon's probably not going to go along with it if Alpheus dies. But I think it makes the most sense that Alpheus is the person that Titan tries to stab. He's had the most direct conflict with Alpheus himself, right? He's trying to... It's revenge at this point, right? So I think what happens is... he has to be able to do this in a way that won't be able to be stopped by the big buff general, right? Who has a bunch of power and stuff. So let's take a look. I think it's probably throwing a knife into your throat, right? That's probably the best option here. Is like, he's just going to chuck a knife at you from like a shadowy part of the next room and just try to murder you. Keep in mind here, because you have persona, you can't die from this, right? You can always spend a persona point to like save yourself.
Okay.
But it's also possible you won't even have to. He may fail. I doubt it, but he has a lot of dice here. Does that make sense to everybody? Would he kill? I think he would kill Alpheus, right? As opposed to Ben or Spiridon, unless you have a different idea, Josh.
Because I think he would kill Alpheus and take Ben, right? Like, because he wants...
try to.
Right? Like, that's what I would think.
Okay.
Yeah. Do keep in mind that throwing is a separate skill.
You're correct. He doesn't have it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think only there's like one life path that gives it, and it's like some dumb urchin kid on the streets of a village or something. But,
I'm just trying to think of like the best way. Like, what would be the smartest thing for him to do, given his skills, to try to murder Alpheus right now? Did he have poisons? No, he doesn't. That'd have been funny. He poisoned your wine all along. Because I don't know if Titan would just rush into the room and kamikaze stab Alpheus, right? Oh, so maybe this is him in the house waiting for the right moment to strike. Because I don't know if he would like charge into the room or anything. Yeah, okay, let's say that. Okay, so I think we see that Titan is now in the room or in the manor, right? He has made his way inside. No one has noticed him. But I think what happens, right, is the general was about to say, he seemed like he was about to say something, and a soldier walks in, not panicked or anything, but just says like, we've done another sweep of the perimeter. We don't see anything out of the ordinary. I think Titan's left the area. And Spiridon nods, says, good. Well, yes.
Alpheus, let me just say this. You've convinced me. You've convinced me, my boy. I think it may be time for one last hurrah. One last moment in the sun. I don't know. What about you boys? You want to go on another campaign? And the soldiers like raise an eyebrow. He's like, I'll give you the details later. For now, let's get some sleep. You've had a rough day. Rough, probably a couple of months from everything I've heard. Go ahead. My cook can make you anything to eat if you'd like anything more than what's on the table here. But otherwise, you both get some sleep and we'll talk more about this in the morning.
All right, let's go, Ben.
And I think we see Alpheus and Ben Asher, right, walk up the stairs, go to the room that's been set aside. The soldier leaves who's been escorting you. And what are you doing? Are you like talking with Ben first? You just like hit the sack right away as Alpheus pooped? Like what's this?
I think we'd probably just talk like just quickly, like, okay, this is really good. Like,
yeah, Ben I think
so
says to you,
relieved.
he's like, that seems too easy. It's like he didn't even try.
Well, maybe he really wanted to help us. Or maybe he's really a Sinian. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he frowns. He's like, okay, yeah, I guess maybe.
Well, don't question it. He's going to help us. That's all we needed.
Yeah, I there is a saying in Sinia that I think I've heard once. I think my mom told it to me. It's don't look a gift bird in the mouth, or else you'll get bitten, I think is the rest of it.
I don't actually know what that phrase means. Like, don't lick a gift horse in the mouth.
So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So the original saying, the look a gift horse in the mouth, is basically if you're given a horse, don't try to check out its teeth. Like look at its. Basically, it's literally look at its teeth. And I can't remember if it's either because it's bad manners to the person who gave it to you, right? To be like, is this actually a good gift? Or it's like, if you do find something, well, that's a bummer for you. I think it's probably the first one, if I remember correctly. I think the idea is it's
just
rude.
Just take the win.
Yeah, take the win.
Ben.
Don't question it, or else you're kind of rude. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. So I think, okay, here, I have an idea. I think what might happen, let's say this. What if Ben stands up, he was sitting on the bed that's in here, and he stands up and he says, I think I'm going to go take a walk around the grounds, if that's all right with you, Alpheus. Look at the garden. It looked beautiful from what we saw.
Be careful, Ben. Go ahead, but don't wander off.
Of course.
Titan could still be around.
Mm-hmm. I understand. I'll make sure to keep in sight of a soldier if I can.
Good.
Yeah, and he nods and heads out. And the thing I'm thinking is, does Titan grab Ben and then hold a knife to his throat, go into the room with Alpheus and try to get something from Alpheus, or does he just try to murder Alpheus? Like, I'm just trying to like get into Titan's mind here. What's the like most advantageous thing he would do in this circumstance?
Here's my thing. I think if Titan were thinking straight, he'd do the first one like he did with me, right? But when he left, he stabbed another soldier.
That's true. Yeah,
he's
you're
just
right.
So
he's kind of
like,
lost
upset.
it.
He's just lost it, right? Like he's just like, I've had it. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. So Alpheus, what do? Do you just like lay down?
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, so we just see Alpheus like, sit and maybe he's starting to take off his shoes or whatever, sandals, and get ready for bed. And I think you just like hear a knock on the door.
So I look over there and I say, yes.
And the door just opens, and Titan's standing there. He has a knife in his hand, and he immediately says, if you say a single word, I will kill you now. And he's like, the room isn't big enough that like there's not much distance between you and him. Like he could dash pretty quickly here.
And I can't fight him.
Yeah. I guess you could like jump out a window, but
So I would yell because I feel like he's going to stab me anyways. Why else would he be there?
yeah, fair enough.
So I scream, "Help!"
So
Help!
let's
As loud
go
as
ahead
I
and make
can.
speed tests here, right? Just opposing speed tests to see if you can say that before he's on you with a knife.
Okay.
Like you're obviously going to get something out, but whether or not he can like stifle whatever you're about to say by stabbing or whatever. So Titan is going to roll speed test.
What's his speed?
He has 1 more speed than you.
So can I use persona?
You can, yeah, you can spend up to 3.
I'm going to spend 3.
Sounds good.
Do I put that in helps?
How many persona do you have?
6?
Oh my gosh.
Is that a lot
It's a good amount.
or no? Okay.
You're
I
muted,
don't
Josh.
care.
You
I don't want to
can't say
die.
You'd put it in the fate box, not the help.
Yeah, so don't do help, but there's
Oh.
there's another one that says Artha next to it. So,
Okay.
on the
3.
next one.
As long as you only need 1 persona, right?
Yep, to not die. Yep.
Base op 2.
Yep.
It didn't do anything.
You might have to do it again. Sometimes it's janky.
Okay. The dice is gone. Oh, wait. Speed. Submit. 3.
Oh no. That was such a bad roll.
Can I use fate?
You can spend 1 fate to reroll 1 failed dice. Yes.
That's crazy.
Oof. All right, so you tie. Tie goes to the defender, which is you in this instance. So I think you're good. So you managed to get out help, but then he's on you, right? I'm trying to decide: does he just go for the stab? Does he just murder you right now? I can't think of anything else he wants. Is the issue, right? So yeah, I think he might just stab you. Okay, so you're gonna probably make like a bean learned brawling test to like fight him off, right? It's probably what you're doing, unless you just want to like try to jump out a window or something. Like, how are you defending against his knife here?
I can't do escape artist to escape through a window or something.
Escape artist is like escaping out of bonds or something, or being a contortionist or through
I'll
prison
just
bars.
do brawling then.
I think that makes the most sense.
What is that against?
I'll roll his first here. Let's see, 1, 2. I'm just making sure I know what force.
Well, I'm
he
gonna
has.
lose. So
1, 2. Okay. Your ob is 4, which because it's being learned, it'll double. But yeah, put in 4 on brawling. Oof.
Technically, you would have had 1 extra dice because it's based on power. Not
Oh,
perception,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it probably doesn't matter.
yeah.
Though. Yeah.
doesn't
No.
really matter.
So I think it's still a difficult though, right? For purpose of advancement.
5 versus 4, yeah, it's difficult.
So
you'll have a
mark,
difficult on power.
yeah, mark a difficult on power though, Alpheus, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think probably what happens here, so you have a couple of options here, right? You've just failed the test that is leading to your imminent death. You can spend a persona now if you want, which will redirect the narrative from him stabbing you in the throat to something else bad, such as dangling out the window or something, right? Like, it would have to be something where you're still in danger, but like you could make a different test to try to get away. Or you can just take the hit and then spend the persona on the mortal wound to survive, right? But you'll
I'll
have to
do
like
that.
recover from the mortal wound is the idea though. So
I'll do that.
as a note, Chad, mortal wounds take forever to recover from, and you're going to be unconscious for a long time.
Oh, then no.
It
First
might,
one.
it might make more sense. You have some personas to spare still, so it might make more sense to do the first one. So what do we think here? Dangling out the window is like a good option. Anything else that we can think of that would be like still in immediate danger, but can make a different test?
I don't know.
I think that makes sense, right? So maybe Alpheus is like frantically trying to fight him off, right? And he pushes you towards like the wall, right? And you just literally like slam into the window with your head, right? It smashes open and you just kind of like pitch backwards. And I think the idea here is you're going to have to try to catch yourself. Otherwise you're just like falling. Because I feel like that makes more sense. We could, I guess, do it where you're hanging and he's gonna stab your fingers or something. But I think let's do it where you've smashed through the window and you're just kind of like flipping backwards and you'll have to like catch yourself.
All right.
So I think that's gonna be like agility, right? It's like hand-eye coordination and try to grab, or power. One of those. I guess power would be to like the hold on. Let's do agility.
Just roll it.
Yep. Let's say Ob. What do you actually have in it?
4.
4. I don't know, guys. What do you think? How hard is it to catch yourself from falling on a window?
Depends on what's the house looks like.
I'm thinking
Depends on what's down below, and he also did it on purpose rather than being pushed out, right? So I think it might be a little easier because he did it. He's like,
oh well. So Chad, the player, did it on purpose. I don't think Alpheus, the character, did.
Oh,
right. This is just like the narrative has redirected into something that's also bad. I don't think Alpheus tried to jump out the window. He was just struggling with Titan. I'm thinking either an Ob 2 or 3. I'm trying to decide between those two.
The fun thing about Ob 3 is that would give him a cool test that he could add to his agility.
That is true. That's true. Let's do Ob 3. I think it's Ob 3. So still possible, but could be bad. So Ob 3 agility. Oh, whoa! That was pretty unlikely. Good job. Okay, mark that difficult test. Alpheus is now dangling out a window. You said help, right? You were able to do that. So someone's gonna come here in just a second. But I think there's still a moment where you'll have to like decide kind of what to do in this. Like you could just hold on, and Titan's gonna come with a knife, right? He might just try to cut off your fingers, right, and send you to your death. You are at a second story window, so you're gonna fall a bit of a distance here, but you could like look down, try to see if there's something you could like swing yourself to like soften your landing, or maybe just drop and try to like roll or something. Up to you. You're not good at those things, but. Or you could try to, like, there might be a moment of pause here. You could try talking to Titan, right? You could be like, wait, I have an offer for you, right?
No, that never works. With him. With everyone else it does. Yeah. So I will look down. I want to look down to see if there's like a fountain or a plant or something that's
let's take a look at the map
that I could drop down, that it's not such a long drop.
The map might not make sense for what I'm envisioning, but this is actually probably just a first floor, so I don't think there's a good reference here. But
where are the bedrooms? Oh no, look, there's a stairway on the top.
Yeah,
left.
they'd be like on a second story. I'm just trying to figure out where. Let's see where the window would be, because it could
Hopefully
be like
it's where those chairs are.
Yeah, I was gonna say there could be a cart underneath you, some brush underneath you.
If it's a tree, that could help too.
Tree. Yeah, let's say tree. Tree is probably the most interesting, right? Because you could jump to the tree and try to not have to fall at all. Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking maybe a power test, right? To like heave yourself off the window and grab onto a branch.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I'm thinking Ob 2.
Yeah, like to jump into the tree.
Yeah, Ob 2, I think, power.
Oof.
All right, hey, you got a 6. You can spend 2 fate and reroll 2 dice.
All right, I will.
Yeah. Burn through the fate.
2 dice.
Yeah, make sure you're marking where you're spending these on as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Nice. Very good. Yeah, so Titan's coming at you with a knife, right? You kind of like awkwardly leap away from the window, grab onto a tree, and you're like just like barely hanging onto the branch. And you're probably not going to stay there for very long, but I think the time you've managed to stall is just enough that Spiridon is now in the doorway.
Yeah,
right?
kill him.
So he sees Spiridon.
I'm gonna yell that. Kill him.
Yeah. Right. Elvius is hanging on the tree, just like, kill him.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then, yeah, Spiridon has a sword in hand. Or wait, maybe he's not. Oh, man. Spiridon's actually not good these days at fighting because he was mostly a tactician. But I think it makes sense for him to show up. I think he would be the person to show up if anyone. He does have skills for this, but he would just have to do some forks here. So I'm thinking he's just going to do a brawling test. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if Spiridon wants to kill the guy. Does he? I don't know.
But I wanted to.
You know what? I think he wants to kill the guy.
What if he dies, bro? That's going to be terrible.
That would be terrible. I think he's going to go ahead and roll sword. No, he'll roll brawling. That's the thing he's best in. He's not doing this. He has a sword in his hand, but he's not like doing it in a finesse sort of way, right? He's just like flailing, and pile driving and biting and stabbing, whatever he needs to do to take Titan down. He just goes into like a berserk frenzy. So brawling, he's forking in. I think he'll have a sword in one hand and a knife in the other. And so he's gonna fork in both of those. But I think that's all he can do. So this is his roll, and then it'll be against Titans. So oh no, that's so bad. He got a 1.
That's not good.
Okay, so Titan is gonna roll his knives here. This is very bad. I'll point out, this is incredibly in character for Spiridon. So this isn't me trying to get him killed intentionally. I actually didn't realize that he had that low of fighting skills, but I guess he is an old man, so it makes sense. Let's see, 1. I don't think Titan has a whole bunch of forks here. I think it's just might be 1. Yeah. Actually 2 because he has sword stuff too. Okay. So, Ob 1. Okay, he succeeded. Again, I already made the point that Spiridon doesn't have any Eartha. So, I think he just gets stabbed.
None? He's going to die.
Yeah, I think he just gets stabbed. So, based off of like the kind of normal wound roll rules here, a knife has an add of 1, I believe, right? So, it would be like the highest hit. Which is 1.5 times his power. So that would be a 4, I think. No, wait. 4 or 5. Do you round up or down for that? I always forget.
Down, I believe.
Down. So let's see. 3 and then 1.5. So yeah, it'd be 4. Wow, I don't think Titan did a whole lot of damage to him because, yeah, he did. Okay, so he did a light wound. He stabbed Spiridon, but the man is pretty. Oh, I guess he only has a mortal wound of B9. Yeah, he's an old man. This could be bad. It could have been much worse though. He gets a stab wound on him. I think they're gonna struggle here for a moment more, right? So Spiridon's gonna try again. And then I think if he can survive this one, then another a couple soldiers will show up to help. But what are you doing in the meantime, Alpheus? Do you want to stay there, drop down?
No, I'm climbing down.
Okay, you're climbing down.
Yeah, and I'm probably yelling, "Go help the general."
Yeah. So I think you can do that without a roll or anything, right? You're just doing it carefully.
Okay.
I assume.
Yeah.
And then we'll go ahead and roll again for Spiridon. Okay, you got a 2 this time. We'll see if Titan can do this. Oh
my gosh.
dear.
He's dead.
Yeah, so the thing is, I don't think he can. I'm gonna double check I think I got the wound right on what he was doing. I think it's because I don't think knives add any power to.
Depends on what quality of knife it is, I think.
Oh yeah, it might be. Let me double check real quick because this is important.
I'll get it up.
Yeah, if you find it before me. Oh, it's at the end. Wait, where is this index? Index. Where in the world is this? There it is. Knives. Yeah, okay, let me double check. Titan has it just says knife, so I assume it's like a shiv.
Knife and shiv. Yeah, knife and shiv is 0 power.
Yeah, I don't think he has a special knife or anything. So yeah, I think he just does another light wound to Spiridon. Because this is the thing, right? Titan, when he's not good in an actual fight. He's good when he can literally just slit the guy's throat and run away, right? And so I think Spiridon takes another light wound. I think his lowest stat is a 3. So if he takes one more light wound, he's unconscious, but he's still kicking for now. But this next roll, he'll get to do with some soldiers. And honestly, the soldiers might make the roll, and he might help them because they probably have higher skills here. Yeah, so I'll have them make. So let's see, 2, and then 1 from Spiridon, and then 2 from help from other soldiers. Okay, here's the new roll. This is like the 2 soldiers burst in and are helping Spiridon fight Titan. Titan, if he's probably going to try to bail if this goes badly for him, and either way, probably even if it goes well for him. They got a 5. That's much better. And then Titan, he's still trying to kill Spiridon because I think at this point he's like, if I could at least ruin Alpheus's plan, right? Oops. Okay, Titan has Artha. So he's going to spend some. Oh my gosh.
What happened?
That's bad. He got 8 successes with fate. He rolled a 6 3 times for fate. So again, these are light wounds. Spiridon will probably actually be fine after the fact, right? Because light wounds are easy to heal from. But right now he goes unconscious, right? He has 3 wound dice and he just like passes out from blood loss, right? On the floor. But I think at this point, Titan's like, okay, well, I did what I could do. I'm going to try to jump out the window and run away now. So Titan is going to attempt that. And I think it's probably just like opposing speed test with him and the soldiers, right? So
that was so unlikely.
I know, very unlikely. Okay, so Titan's speed roll. He got a 2. And then soldiers, they can't really help each other with this. Not really, because, it's just how fast can they run. Actually, I'll add 1 help because there are probably other people not immediately following him who could maybe intercept him. And then up 2. Okay, so Ty goes the defender, though, and the Kyrides and soldiers do not have Artha. So Titan gets away, unless Alpheus, you want to try to... do you want to try to chase him down?
Yeah, but I can't kill him.
Yeah,
I don't have any abilities.
You could just power test grapple him, right? And like hold him until the soldiers get there.
Do I see him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you see him running across the courtyard right now.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it. I want to kill him.
Sounds good.
Or I want to get him killed.
Alpheus probably doesn't even have shoes on, right? Because he was like getting ready for bed. Yeah.
Typical
so
Alpheus, honestly.
Speed test ob 2, and you have to get above a 2. for it to actually work, but otherwise you just tie with them.
Nope.
0.
I'll catch
Okay,
him.
well, Alpheus says, takes one step, steps on a thorn, trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Titan runs off into the night, unharmed. Yeah, so again, the thing is, Spiridon only took light wounds, so he's actually fine. All the soldiers, they have field dressing and stuff. It'll only take a bit for them to heal him up from that, and honestly, he doesn't even necessarily need someone to make rolls for him. He can just make health tests to recover.
Okay.
But I think we can probably end it there, right? And Spiridon is stabbed and bloody, but he's recovering, like maybe even cut forward in time, and he's being wrapped up by his soldiers, and I think maybe this is what we end on, right? We have he's like kind of woozy, but he's like woken up at this point, right? And you and Ben are like standing over him, and he looks up and he's like, I thought you were a goner there.
Well, I'm glad you're not a goner.
Someone's gonna have to teach you how to swing a blade, son. Honestly, at this point, I think someone needs to teach me how to swing a blade. That was a pathetic performance I put on.
At least everyone's gonna be okay.
I think so. Alpheus, there's something I need to tell you.
I'm your father. No.
I should have told you from the beginning, but I guess I thought it would be more fun to draw it out, but maybe that was a mistake. Alpheus, I did know your father. Very well, in fact. Because he was my son.
What? What?
And Alpheus, your father didn't die because of the king's negligence. Titan killed him.
I just like get so mad and I start crying, tears in my eyes.
Your father was from Kyrides, Alpheus. He was a spy for Kyrides. But when he didn't want to do it anymore, Titan, well, that's what happens to spies who turn coat.
So that's why Titan has been plaguing me for the last few years. Oh, just like he did to my father.
He's nodding.
How could you be my grandfather? None of this makes any sense.
Your father didn't fill you in on a lot, I'm sure. He was trying to leave that life behind. He was trying to live a life in Sinia with your mother, but
he told me that my grandfather died on the seas.
in a way,
It was all a lie?
No, not exactly. In a way, I think I did. But that's neither here nor there.
I have a lot of questions.
And I'm sure I can give you plenty of answers, but for now, Alpheus, just let me rest. We can talk more in the morning.
All right, Grandpa.
We're going to save Sinia, Alpheus. I promise you that. If not to spite Titan, then for your father at least. He cared so much about that dang city. And that's what ended him. I don't think I understood why, but seeing you here, I get it now. It wasn't Sinia. It was you. That's why he did all the things he did.
So I think I'm like sad and have tears in my eyes. And then I give him a hug and be like, all right, get some rest. And then I'll just leave, go to my room or something.
Yep. And I think that's where we call it for Alpheus's stuff. So, Chad, I've known that for a long time.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I well, obviously you didn't, because I was keeping it a secret from you. But yeah, I've known for a very, very long time that your father was a spy and Titan killed him. And
So even if Titan got in there, like, he would still not help Titan. He would have probably been killed Titan, obviously.
Yeah, there would have been a whole big thing. Yeah. But so basically, Titan's plan, right, was to use you as the leverage, right? Because he knew you were his grandson.
Yeah.
And
he knows.
Yeah. So he was like, no.
Oh, yeah, because he killed my dad.
Because Titan would have said, like, no, I'm working with Alpheus now. Like, everything's good, everything's cool. Like, we're just gonna try to save Sinia. Like, don't worry about it, sort of a thing, right? But yeah, there you go.
Cool.
Or if it went bad, you want another person in your family killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, cool stuff. I'll let you get to bed, Chad, and then we'll continue on.
All right, I appreciate it.
People.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Yeah, it was. Bye.
Cool. Oh, I gotta change these overlays around. What? Why does this overlay say Seth as Cyrillus? What? I haven't used this one in so long. Sometimes it just like randomly resets these, which is annoying. Okay, cool. So where do we want to go next? That's pretty intense. Very good. We have Duel of Wit stuff with Joser, but we could also do something a little bit smaller with Maya and Avra first before we circle back around to bigger stuff. Though I guess Joser also had to talk. He was going to talk with a friend of Demetrius too. So whoever would like to do a scene, feel free to suggest it. We got plenty of stuff going on.
I just want to make sure Carly's good. If she,
yeah, Carly, I don't know if you're available right now, if you're still putting Finn to bed, but if you are, let us know.
I'm currently just finishing up the dishes, so I won't be done soon. But
sounds good. Yeah, Maya, do you have anything going on here?
Only thing I two scenes I had in mind just was so my last session I talked to my connection about writing the play, but now I need to figure out a way to like get actors.
The next thing was you needed to find a patron, right? You needed to find, so she was going to set you up with a meeting with one of the hierarchs who was interested in the Hopsef Society and would be amenable to this, and you have to convince him to like pay for it.
So I already have the meeting. I just need to actually do the convincing.
Yep. Because I guess honestly, probably though, this is Demetra making a circles roll, right, to set up the meeting. But this isn't Maya making the roll at least. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Or sorry, not Demetra, Damaris making the roll. They both have D's in their names, so. All right, circles roll. Let's see. What does she have for? She has city-born stuff. I think there is at least a city-born life path that the hierarch would have had. Let's check what they're. Yeah. I think it's going to be slightly difficult. If you'd like to help, you could.
Okay. I mean, I can definitely help.
She'll use her reputation as a mysterious playwright.
I could use my reputation as a patron of the arts, or...
Well, I think in this case, you'd just be helping with your circles.
Oh,
right. You're just like adding your circles to it,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or not adding your circles, but like helping with your circles.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I think you would have a relevant life path that would cross over at least a little bit.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I think it's all going to be 3 for this one.
Okay.
And there you go. She got it.
Woo!
Very
hey,
good.
that gets me another routine test, right?
Yeah, will it be against your ob 3?
Yeah, I have a 3.
So that'd be difficult. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
That's fine too. I need that also.
Yeah, for Damaris, it is a routine. All right, cool.
I'm so close to upgrading my circles.
Yeah. So, I think we see, right? This is probably some, I don't know, like, let's say you're meeting him at his like estate or whatever.
Okay.
Let me double check what the hierarchs have property wise.
I'd probably take Malekith with me because I'm
Okay.
trying to also help him build connections in
Sure.
Setkiss.
Yeah,
So
that
I'm
makes
like,
sense.
come on, sweetie, you should come with me.
He's also way better at these sorts of things.
I mean, I'm good
Well,
at
maybe not way
persuasion.
better. Well, yeah, you're right. He has more in oratory, but yeah, he's good at him too.
He has certain sway to him for sure.
Where is? Oh yeah, property is.
I'm
here.
probably trying to schmooze the wife, right? And
Sure,
then he's trying to
yeah.
schmooze the husband, kind of thing.
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
like,
sense.
you should convince your husband to help us. Like, this would be so great.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's probably some sort of like little mixer thing that maybe he's thrown together for members of the Hopsef Society because he's like, again, a patron of the arts and he wants to chat up the local playwrights and actors and whatnot. We maybe like pull the scene, come into the scene where he and his wife are chatting up some beautiful actress who's become famous, dark-skinned Setkessian woman who is, making all the proper niceties to continue getting funding from this dude, right? Even though he's probably coming more as like an awkward fanboy than anything else, right? Again, he's a hierarch, so he has like social skills and stuff, but he's like a religious figure, so it's not necessarily the same social circle here. And so yeah, we probably see him or hear him and his wife like talking to her, and then we see Maya and Damaris and Malekith all step up to the little huddle that they're having, right? And Damaris says, I hate to interrupt, Hierarch, but I just wanted to introduce you to the woman I was mentioning earlier. And the Hierarch turns and says, oh, yes, of course. I would love to meet the famous Maya of Sinia.
Pleasure is mine. I'm sorry, I don't believe I'm assuming like she would introduce like the name.
Yeah, I'm generating it right now.
I know. I figured you were stalling to do that, but that's what
so
she would do. She would say, "It's nice to meet you, so and so."
This guy's name is Hierarch Seti.
Seti.
Yeah,
and he's called Hierarch Seti.
Yeah, I mean Hierarch is his title, so
okay, all right.
And his wife is Shani, Seti and Shani.
Seti and Shani. Why does that sound like a band name?
Anything can be a band name if you put your mind to it.
I guess.
Yeah, so you say, oh, good to meet you, Hierarch Seti.
Yes, and your lovely wife's name and
Yeah, and he introduces, yes, of course, this is Shani. She is she dabbles in playwright, in writing plays herself from time to time.
Oh.
And
neat.
Shani like
I wish
nods
I knew
kind of
how
shyly.
to write.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And
come in handy.
The Hierarch kind of waves his hand. It's like, oh, it is largely overrated sometimes. When your hand starts cramping up because you've written your own name a bajillion times on, or a million times on official city documents, it becomes a little tedious.
I'm sure my husband can certainly attest to this. If I can introduce him, this is
he's like
Malekith.
Malekith is rubbing his hand as he looks out. He's like, yes, of course. Great to meet you, Hierarch Seti. Malekith used to be the Minister of Commerce in Sinia before what happened.
Before I seduced him over to.
Well, he was the Minister of Commerce even after.
I know, but before I seduced him over to. Oh, I guess I meant, because he's from, I thought he was referring to the fact
Minister
that
of Commerce in Sinia.
In Sinia, okay. I thought he was referring to his title in Setkiss.
No. I don't think he ever had a title in Setkiss. Like he was like a burgeoning young merchant, but really found his footing in Setkiss or in Sinia for obvious reasons.
Got it.
Because he's Pyrus.
Right. So,
but yeah, Hierarch Seti was probably says like, yes, we've heard so much about the tragedy that has happened in Sinia. such a shame.
Yes, we really miss it back home. Well, the way it used to be, at least.
Of course.
And, well, we're trying to, the Church of Hagiel has been so generous to us, and
He frowns a little bit when you say the Church of Hagiel.
oh, because he's from where?
He's part of the Church of Seraphim, right? The death god
Oh,
stuff. By the way, this is kind of like the ceremonial robe stuff that they wear. It's
okay.
very involved. He probably doesn't have like the hood on, but
Okay, then, so I didn't know that he was part of like the Dead Gods Church.
yes. So most of the people,
but
most
I
of
don't.
the good.
Oh, sure, I know that most of them are from there, but yeah, I'm wondering if maybe she would have reworded that a little bit.
Sure.
Not mention Hagiel specifically,
Just like
but been a little bit more
people
subtle.
of Setkis.
The people of Setkis have been very generous to us, and we're
he probably just says, yes, of course, like thinking that someone gave you money, but he doesn't know who, right? He's like, oh
Right.
yeah, of course, we're generous. One of my own people did it, obviously.
Yeah. And she says, I don't know if Damaris has told you, but she's actually helping me write a play. It was in the works before the incident, and she says it kind of, because it's now like a joke, because they've said it like 3 times that already. And she says, it's really a wonderful play, and I would really like to see it come to fruition here in Setkis someday.
Sorry, what is the?
So I'm just saying, she's just starting up the conversation, just mentioning that, like, hey, has Damaris actually mentioned that we're working? She mentioned me.
Yes,
Did she mention that we're working on a play together?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So he says, yes, she did mention something like that. I'm sure that my wife and I would love to look it over and give you our thoughts, our comments.
Well, we're actually hoping to find producers behind it, people who are willing to back it up. Have you ever done something like that?
Well, I wouldn't have garnered the reputation that I have if I hadn't, so you, of course, are coming to the right man. But we would, of course, love to have to look over the play first to make sure it is up to our standards.
Oh, of course. But would you expect anything less from one of the best playwrights in all of Setkis?
Yeah, he Damaris looks down demurely, like, oh, you're too kind, and he says, Seti says, of course, Damaris has made quite a name for herself, or well, she's anonymous, so maybe that's not the right word, but there is a name floating around there somewhere. It's basically mysterious playwright, but that is the name she has garnered for herself. She has one. Yes, of course. We would love to look it over. Let me ask one thing first, though. I'm trying to think. There would be some stipulation or.
Well, basically, so what Maya is going to try to spin here, right? Mm-hmm. Is that the generosity of your people of Setkis has been amazing, and it's been able to keep us stable, but we're still looking to raise funds to actually regain Sinia. And I would love to, and
I think Seti's wife puts a hand to her lips and slightly chuckles at that, and then Seti glances at her and she's like, oh, sorry.
Oh, because I said we want to
she thought it's like she thinks it's a ridiculous idea.
Oh.
And she wasn't being the most full of etiquette in that moment.
Etiquette, yeah. Yeah. Okay. And basically, I don't know that I need to say the whole thing, but basically her whole argument is that you could be the most generous of them all and have your name attached to a fundraiser of sorts for the people of Sinia. And, when we get back, we would not reward. Oh, well, no, just think of how nice.
Think
like
of
your reputation.
Think of the friends you would gain.
Reputation would be boosted.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that sounds like a roll to me, right? Because I think like if you fail, right, the idea would be he looks it over and it's just like, whatever. Because like them looking it over, they're not actually that good. They're not really connoisseurs of the theater, right? They don't know enough to actually. So this is all how they respond to the looking it over really does depend on whether or not they think it's worth their time.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So I think like, so obviously I know this is like a persuasion role, right? And I want to make an argument for like, etiquette for just, general niceties, but also, possibly I think Maya, if like the wife chuckled, and like as she's making the argument, been like, you would definitely garner a more reputation of being very generous and, just like kind of like almost looking at her like, not so rude, by your comments and things. And I'm trying to think of.
So you're arguing for an etiquette fork there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for being generally.
Sure, of course. Trying to subtly call her out on her bad etiquette.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think if. I don't, and here's the thing. I'm not trying to make any enemies here, so I don't know if I would fork in anything like ugly truth or falsehood, anything like that. So I kind of feel like that might be it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know.
You could always escalate if you need to.
Yeah, I could.
Ugly truth with extortion and falsehood.
Right. Hey, I have a call-on trait for falsehood, so
Yeah.
Could go there.
Cool. Yeah. So your ob is gonna be 5.
Oof. Okay. Does Malekith help me at all?
Yes. I was gonna check Damaris too.
Wow, he has an ob 5. He has the same ob as a god. Dang.
Yeah. Well, it turns out when you die as a god, you're not quite as cool as you once were. Let's see, Malekith.
Well, tell me how you really feel.
Sorry, it's just the truth, Joser. Let's see. Yeah, I think Malekith is going to help with etiquette. Remind me, Joser or Josh. Is it 7 you can fork and 5 you can help with 2 dice?
Yeah, 7 is fork, 5 is help.
I always get this mixed up. Okay, so he has a 5 in etiquette, so he can actually help you with 2 dice here. And I think what he's going to be doing is basically he'll take your point about the etiquette that you're trying to subtly do, and he'll bring up some like counter points of his own there, and basically say, bringing up his knowledge of the Setkus court, right? Basically saying, let's see. Of course, with the tension that sometimes happens between rival churches in a city such as this one, you would never want to seem like you are shortchanging anyone, or that another church was getting the better of you for, in terms of generosity and kindness. You of course need to show that Seraphim, as one is moving from life to death, he does care about the little man. Yeah, so he'll add etiquette there.
Okay.
And then I'm going to check Damaris and see if she has anything.
Okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. She has seduction. I think
that is kind of funny.
She'll add her persuasion because she can also add 2 dice because she has a 5 in it.
Oh,
and
I don't even have seduction, and I used to be an actress.
Yeah. She says, Maya, of course, is too kind about my skill or lack thereof, but I would, of course, consider it a personal favor, me and the Hopstep Society, if you were to look over what was the word here? I'm thinking
manuscript?
I'm thinking of the word like brainchild, but like a less weird, like modern way of saying that. like the brain. It would be, of course, be nice of you to look over the brainchild or whatever term to put there of a visiting dignitary, right? This is and a fellow member of the Hopsef Society, someone who's new in town. Like this is all just part of your normal fare here. So yeah, 4 dice from them.
All right, and then my one help or one fork.
Okay. For etiquette, and then all 5.
All right. Okay. All right. I've got an 11 dice versus 5. I think I feel pretty good about that.
In most situations, that would be good.
You're right.
But we've also seen 19 dice.
How many dice? 19 against all 5? So, okay. All right. On the money.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he nods. He's like, of course. We will look over it and give our suggestions and comments, and then we'll let you know. Of course, we have to do this through the official channels, but given the promise that I've already seen Damaris, I'm sure that it will be up to my standards. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Me as well. Shawnee and Seti, it was a pleasure to meet you. And if there's anything we can ever do for you, please let us know.
Yeah, and I think Shawnee holds out a hand to not to shake it, because that's not what normal women would do, but just
the
hold
the womanly thing.
Exactly,
yeah.
the hand on the.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And she puts another hand on top. So
and then she just keeps stacking. Yeah, no, and she just says, "An absolute pleasure, Maya." It seems
cats on 3.
It seems disingenuous because
no, yeah, and she definitely does that too. She's like, a real pleasure.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then she whispers in Malachus' ear, "I hate that woman." And Malachus is like,
he's probably just confused.
Really
that was bizarre.
That was bizarre.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Yeah. So I think the rest of the mixer goes really well, and you meet some people and whatnot. One thing I actually do want to happen here that I think, as you're going around chatting up the people and whatnot, you get into a conversation with someone who I think a priest of it would be Hopsef himself, right? The god Hopsef.
Okay.
And because that's what the Hopsef Society is named after. It's the god of music and arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you overhear Damaris is introducing you to various people, right? And she introduces you to this guy, and before you talk to him, right? He seems she warns you that he's a little eccentric, so take whatever he says with a grain of salt. Okay. And you do introductions and whatnot, and I don't know if his name is necessarily important right now. If he becomes more important later, we can always burn one up. But okay. He says something that kind of just seems a little odd to you. He says he seems troubled when Damaris introduces him. And based on what Damaris said, you weren't expecting that. You were expecting him to be flamboyant and eccentric and whatnot. And he seems troubled, distracted by something. He does very brief an introduction, and then he turns to Damaris and he says, "The other brothers and I are worried, Damaris. There's something wrong." And Damaris frowns. He's I don't understand. What do you mean? And he looks around and he says, "I'm sorry, Maya. I don't need to be rude, but I may have. Can I take Damaris here aside for just a moment? Have a private conversation."
Okay, so just so I'm aware of the relationship, so Hopsef is a god of music and arts,
yeah,
and all that. But there's
though I guess in this
the father,
in Setkes, this would actually be they would call Hopsef a woman. Whereas Sinia is Hopsef is a man. I forgot about that detail. So he would be the goddess Hopsef, is what he says, right?
Okay. So just so I'm clear, okay, so there's the father, the 4, there's
The
Malekith,
four brothers, and then there's
four
the
brothers
sister who's
and
Indu.
the sister.
Yep.
Indu. And then there's like other minor gods
Yes,
underneath them, right?
indeed.
And Hopseth is one of
Hopseth
those.
is one of them. I don't.
Are they like their children?
I think they are. I believe so. I don't know if I know that there are some particular ones that I know for sure are children of other particular ones. I've never come down on the details. But Hopseth and Nesanhur, who are the two gods of like enchanting in the setting, are twins. So whoever their father or mother is, they're children of that person. It's probably one of the main five, but I guess it might not be though, because only only Hagiel had like a wife,
right?
Indu that we know of.
Indu,
so it's possible that there were lesser gods that were like wives
that, like, ascended
of the main four.
Okay.
Right. So that might be the case too. I don't know myself right now. You could make a doctrine roll if you wanted to.
I'd be curious to see if my husband was married in a previous life.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
That's probably something I would have to find out later, though. I don't even have doctrine.
Yeah. You'd probably want to just go ask a priest instead.
Right. Did my husband once have a wife?
Yeah. Well, and now I need to figure this out. Thanks, Alyssa.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, because I need to know, did he have other children?
Yep, that's true. Yep.
Am I just the second wife? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I'll probably make Pyrrhus have no wife just to make that less weird. But it's likely that the other gods have wives.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or an actually dead one.
Oh yeah, like a god who actually died or something. Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, I was just curious what the relation there was.
Yeah. It's possible, given that Hopseth and Nesanhur are probably the most important of the other gods besides the main five. It's possible that their father and mother were somewhere else, right? We're not one of the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The ones that are here, yeah.
Okay. So what exactly did he say? He said, "I'm getting worried because the brother."
He didn't. He said, the brothers and I are getting worried. That's all he said. He didn't specify why, but apparently Damaris knows something about this.
Okay.
Yeah. So he asked if he can take Damaris aside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would have any like objection to that. Obviously, I mean, I just met the man. So
absolutely not.
How dare you?
I suppose you could make an etiquette roll to be like, no, that's not allowed. But
no, because if anything, it'd be me refusing would be, I think, not the correct etiquette.
Probably. I mean, you could make a difficult etiquette roll to make it not the case, right? That's always a possibility.
No, I don't think so. If any, I'm trying to think. I feel like Maya would possibly say something like, I don't think she would follow up with the priest, but she'd follow up with Damaris later and be like, you promised that you would come to me, like if you need something. You've already scratched my back many times. Like if this is something that I can help with, like let me know. So I think that's what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
I think she says, oh, of course, and then she like goes up to Damaris and kind of like whispers in her ear, and she just says, I meant what I said. If you do need my help with something, I am willing to. You've already helped me more than enough, and I'm very grateful.
Sure.
And
yeah.
Then she'll just look at her.
I think we can like probably skip through the rest of that, right? She goes out and has the conversation, comes back. Do you want to make a persuasion test though to see if she thinks it's in her best interest to like bring you in on this?
Sure, I guess, yeah.
Right, because I think it's sensitive enough that she might not think it's a good idea, but you could convince her that it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll if like we just go back to like that, because I'm assuming the persuasion is like what I'm whispering to her, right? Like because I don't know if I'd persuade her after the fact. I'd let her like.
I was just thinking like the thing you just said in her ear is the persuasion.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So I think what I would say, right, to get it to be more persuasion-y, because basically I'm just offering, is just like, I'm a really good, basically she just wants to say like, I'm a really good listener and secret keeper.
Cool.
If you need something.
Mhm.
So.
So the Ob is going to be 6, unfortunately, because she has a will of 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Why
Yeah.
does she have such a good will?
She has a perception of 6 and a will of 6. She's just like a powerhouse in social and perception stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I will give you an advantage die because I think she's amenable to this, right?
Okay. Can I get soothing platitudes as support?
Yep.
Okay. And etiquette for allowing her to
Sure.
like go
Yep.
just like talk. And can I say I don't think I can get family secret wise in this because I just said I'm good at keeping secrets.
Are you lying about being good at keeping secrets?
I am so good at keeping
yes, true.
secrets.
You are good. Alpheus isn't, but
I didn't like. There was only one time I blabbed, but that's the lie. I have never actually.
The only thing I can think of, this is probably a stretch, is like drummer wise because I was being kind of dramatic with like the whole like going like in your ear secret thing.
Sure. Yep.
I thought that might be a bit of a stretch, but thank you.
No, I it makes sense.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, 3 works.
Ob 6.
I mean,
you want to add some persona to this? Yeah, 4.
I don't even know what this is for. Like, is this actually that important? Caleb's well, clearly I brought it up, so it must be. I'll throw persona in. Sure, why not? I've got 4 of them.
Yeah.
And this will probably be the only thing I do for today, anyways.
Yeah.
So, only other thing I do. So, unless I succeed on this, maybe. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, sorry. Dang it. Sorry, I put the thing in the wrong thing. Okay, 3 forks, 1 persona.
4 forks. 4 advantage dice because I'm giving you just an extra one for her being amenable to it.
Sorry. My fault. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Oh, kind and gracious DM. Okay, base up 6.
Yep. Hey, there you go. Very close.
Okay. All right. Well, I got 3 sixes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's spend 2 fate. I've got 10 of them.
Yep.
Why not? Yep. Okay. Base up 1. 4 dice.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh man. Wow.
Only 1, but I guess that's all you needed.
That's all I needed.
Yep.
So I'll take it.
So she takes you as you guys are like probably like leaving, right? Like you're walking back to somewhere to part ways as the mixer is ending. Everybody's walking down the stairs of his manor or whatever, right? She says, my friend the priest, he said that the priests of Hopsef are waning, I think is how he put it. It's as if their prayers aren't being answered properly.
Oh no, Hopsef is dead.
Yeah, so that's basically what she says, right? Like, so I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm not sure how you could help, but they're worried that something is wrong.
Something's definitely wrong. I don't know what, but I mean, he's dead. He's for sure dead. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, whatever Maya would like to do with that information.
I'm gonna go straight to my husband. I'm like, oh my god,
enough.
honey, Hopsef is dead.
Yeah, he frowns. It's like, what do you mean? What?
So like, as soon as like we get to our dwelling, she's like, honey.
I don't understand.
Apparently, I just know a lot about gods without knowing any doctrine. But she just says, I think something really wrong is happening. Damaris pulled me aside and said that the priest's prayers are not being answered.
Of Hopsef, right?
Yes.
Well, I suppose it makes sense if we are gone, or here, then it's only a matter of time before the rest of the minor gods are killed as well. I wonder if we could find out more about this. The priests of Seraphim are all around us. We need to send for Joser. I think he might be the person to look into this, if anyone.
Agreed. But if
Unless you have another idea.
I think if Hopsef has been killed, then one of two things has happened. One, they're on the other side, correct? Like the dark side.
Either
or
some child just got born somewhere, or
so
yes.
we need some answer to prayer. Where can we locate this child if there is indeed one?
That's true. I think Joser is the man that we need. And then I think they just immediately send for you, Joser. Yeah.
And then we swipe cut to the debate or whatever he's going to do.
Well, I mean, do we want to go to Joser just coming in and having this conversation with them? Or
we can.
Up to you, Josh.
I mean, yeah, whatever you want, Josh. Yeah.
I mean, it'll be like a roll. So
right, that's what I was thinking. Right, it's just like
it's
just
going to be pretty simple.
One roll.
If I'm asking, that's if I go into a series of questions, it'll be a more involved thing.
Sure.
But if it's just one, then it's probably simple.
I basically we want to know, is he dead or is he reborn? Because if he's
right.
or she,
she it.
Yeah, whoever
they them.
Yeah. And honestly, you could ask Malekith about that. He might remember. Like, what's up with that gender
Hopsef
thing?
a boy or a girl?
And I think he frowns and he says, I don't remember. I don't remember everything. Maybe Joser will know more.
Also, did you have a wife?
No. What do you... No, of course not.
Well...
If I had a wife, I would still have a wife. And
but you were
obviously I wouldn't have married you.
So
listen, I knew who I was before I married you. I wouldn't have married you if I knew I had a wife waiting on the other side.
I was just wondering.
I promise, Maya, I'm not married. Or I am married, but just to you.
My understanding is that, the top god, they had the demigods, as children. So I just...
Oh dear, what is this? Trouble in paradise again?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just double checking.
Joser, it's taken care of. Here's a question for you before we get into the real reason we asked you here. Do you remember if Hopsef is a boy or a girl or what? And Joser, I think you know this. Actually, let's make a roll. Let's make a roll to see if you know it. That's probably the more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what that would be. I guess you could just do like astrology or whatever. But I think the idea would be whatever this is Joser in the past having known this through whatever means.
I mean, I could probably... I'm happy to make it whatever. Too, right? I could make doctrine. I could do like religious history of why there's the difference between the two. I could do a whole bunch of different things.
So knowing what I know about this, I think it makes more sense for it to be more of like a direct like astrology or faith thing. Okay. Because this has more to do with your personal knowledge of them as a person, right? As opposed to doctrine stuff.
Well,
but I just think it might be interesting to get this tidbit if you succeed on this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just whack in my quick odd one faith.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel that. Where am I? Back to my
Give me a moment. I have to look at the sun. But I guess this is earlier. But
yep, I'll whack in my odd one faith test just to see if I can open end astrology. There you go. I did successfully open end astrology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll ask a string of questions. Why not? Let's see. I'll just automatically open end astrology because that makes it easier. Usual forks, which is 3 of them, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you'll give me something in addition, like religious history or something for it. But
what are your normal forks?
Usual forks are doctrine and symbology because they're suggested, and then anticipation wise.
Yeah, I think those are the ones that make sense.
Cool. With 3 forks.
I think this would be answer to a specific question. So.
Yep. So just place all 4.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Joser, you know that what it was is basically so Hopsef and Nesenhur, right, are the 2 twins. What happened was Hopsef is a man, Nesenhur is a woman. But they switched roles as gods at one point in the past. So that confused everybody and started making everything weird in the religious doctrine and whatnot. Basically what it was, Joseph, you remember them basically being like, it was literally like the girl was like, I don't want, I guess it's such a stereotype. I don't want to be the goddess of music and arts. I want to be the goddess of metalwork and strength, right? And the dude was like, I want to be the god of music and arts. That sounds more fun. And basically just like, disobeyed and switched roles with each other, because they didn't like the roles that were assigned to them, right? And it got all muddled in the religious history, so everybody's confused about what gender they actually are and whatnot. But so they should Hopseth should be the god of metalwork and strength. Nessa and Hor should be the goddess of music and arts, but they like switch places.
Okay, yeah. So based on that, and once they inform me of what they called me here for,
yeah,
would I think that it's would I think that it's the guy who died, or would I think it's the girl who died? Now the guy is trying to hold on to it.
Good. That's fair. I don't know. I think that would be involved in whatever next roll you're going to make.
The next
right?
One. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that does bring up a good point, right? Like it's like, is there some weird thing happening where Hopseth died and now the sister is like getting back the power and she has to? Yeah, it's like this weird thing. Yeah, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, so just will just say, no, rebellious children.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hopseth
grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Basically, the religious doctrine just got muddled because they switched roles.
I understand. That was just Maya saying.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm.
Good.
Yes.
So Sinia got it right. Okay, cool.
Well, Sinia got it right after they got it wrong. Like they but yes.
I don't think anything about that situation is right. But what did you call me here for?
Well, we think Hopseth is dead.
Okay.
And we would like to know if Hopseth was reborn.
Why, but it just
or
killed
is
me.
Dead.
Okay.
I'm honestly, I think things will get worse before they get better, so I'm not entirely surprised. But I mean, I can find out, ask a few questions, get a few answers. I could observe
If Hopseth managed to become reborn rather than just die, we need to find the child.
I will observe the constellation and see what I can find. Very well. Give me a moment. I will go outside and look at the sun again. Yeah, like he literally opens the door behind him and just like pokes his head back out. Hello. Hello, son. Let's have another look. Same old Florian?
Yeah, I think so. So the question is basically what happened to Hopseth?
Yep. Same forks. Same orb.
Nice.
So the answer is actually neither. Hopseth is not yet dead. He is dying. He is currently in the process of being killed. And Joser, I think with this astrology test, you know that the priests of Seraphim are involved in it right now. Like they're doing something, like it's probably going to take longer than, like, it's not like you have to run to where they are right now and stop them or whatever. But like they are currently in the process of doing rituals and stuff with for Seraphim to kill the god, to kill Hopseth. So the priests are starting to, and the waning of the power, because it's gone. There've been different ways of, right? So Pyrrhus is dead / not dead, right? But there's not been any issues with the Sinians doing their stuff, right? Because so it does depend. Sometimes the faith magic gets messed up. Sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends on a bunch of different factors. The reason, probably one of the reasons it is being messed up now that he's dying is because of this weird switcheroo thing that they did. So it's probably like it's starting to disconnect from him and try to go back to Nesanhur, right? Whatever this power is, and that's starting to mess with everything. And who knows what's going to happen when he actually dies? But yeah, bad things. So there is a chance that if you found out which priests of Seraphim were doing this and stopped them, you could halt the process. But that's it's obviously a bigger thing.
Yeah, so Joshua kind of listens, looks out at the sun. I'm trying to think whether I buy into one of his weird traits and make this more complicated. Yeah. Yeah, I think Josa looks up at the sun, or at least around the sun, pokes his head back inside, and looks kind of like you can see the sweat dripping off him. Like I need to remember that because I did one of the faith ones where he got heat stroke, and that wasn't what he usually gets when he does faith stuff. But yeah, he does the astrology one, which is definitely like you can see probably the collar is like soaked this time, and he kind of looks at you guys and is slightly unsteady on his feet, and he kind of nods and he says, "Not dead, but dying. I have a prayer meeting. I got to go." And just walks out immediately.
I've got a prayer meeting. I have to go.
So
yeah, and he's gone straight to the church.
He's dying, but how? Okay.
He just leaves.
Yeah, he just leaves. He's going directly to the church of Hagel.
Your brother is rather frustrating.
He's a very strange man. Yes. And yeah, I think we can do the Joser, that follow up with Joser at the temple right now. And then I'm thinking we cut over to Avra, do some Avra stuff. And then if we have time, we can cut back to Joser and do one last thing with Joser. Yeah, so you reach the temple of Hagiel.
Walks in, just sits down in front of the altar, squat-legged, and says, "Usual process. I haven't got time to do things complicated this time. If you got a job, stick to it. Everyone else, I need you." And there's a quaver in his voice that's not usually there.
Yeah.
As he calls to the people.
I feel like this is a test, right? You're trying to get
probably
rouse
same
everybody else.
last time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we did do one last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
we
did
fucked
you
in
roll
a bunch
last
of stuff. It was oratory.
Okay, that makes sense.
And with 9 forks because it was a whole bunch of stuff with
all the church forks.
All the church, the importance about the gods and stuff. It's Joseph doesn't come in here and ask for assistance unless it's super important.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sounds good. Go for it. I think it was Ob 3 or no, Ob 4 for the common exponent because they're priests.
Time, yeah. I'll just use the same forks as last time. Boop. No Arthur, just the usual. Just quickly make sure that I didn't make that open-ended. I didn't. Good. Cool. No Arthur, base of 4.
Very good. That is a 7, my friend. I think the bishop is definitely eyeing you weirdly, but because you just kind of come in and do this every once in a while, and he's just I don't know what to think of you, man.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph just looks over at him temporarily and says, "You can pray too."
And I think he does.
If you're
right?
willing to lead us.
Yeah, I think he does because he it's probably one of those things where like he's like, okay, Joser's back and he's having us pray again. But then he like when you look at him and say you can pray too, like there's probably a wildness in your eyes that he's like, oh, this is serious. Okay, yes, sure, I'll pray with you. So you can actually add his faith dice as well, right? Instead of just the will.
Yep. Cool. So I had 2 from the people last time and 1 from his assistants.
Let's say 2. I think he probably has a 5 in it.
Okay. Yep. So I don't know what ob you want to make this.
Yeah, what are you trying to do here?
Because there are a couple of things I want to do in this prayer meeting. One is the one that I actually have a belief for, and one is like in fiction, it's probably like a linked thing of because I have an idea of how it could be like sort of linked there. But yeah, I'm attempting to directly intervene.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like trying to shunt a bit of faith right
just
in there.
Literally
to
just stop the ritual from happening. Save Hopsef's life. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I wish there were rules for like an opposed faith roll.
Yeah. I don't know whether this, because I could see it being like intercession, but usually that's about me rather than another, because I could see it like plucking Hopseth from danger.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I could see it as being a miracle.
Yeah, let me look.
'Cause it's probably either intercession or miracle. It's not one of the easy ones.
I think intercession. Yeah, I don't think it's miracle level. Like there are other things that could be harder than this, but it's still very hard. But part of the thing is like the priests of Seraphine don't know that you're going to try to counter them, right? So this would be you have the benefit of stealth on your side. You're just trying to like break their ritual, and they won't know why, right? It'll just be like, oh, something happened. I don't know. Hopsef has a second wind for now, sort of a thing. So yeah, intercession it is. But yeah, Hopsef is not a member of the Church of Hagiel, so you're not going to get that believer.
No, so it'll be help 8.
Yep.
And should I plonk all my Arthur into this? Yeah, I'll pump full 3 Arthur into this.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll just put
the days where we didn't realize that you could only do 3, and Jared spent like 19 persona on one roll.
Well. Yeah. And I think Joser is well aware that that's going to break part of his stealth. Like this is
sure. Yeah.
Not how he wanted to reveal his presence.
You will reveal your presence to Seraphime in one way or another. Yep.
Yeah. He's noticed that someone is still around to oppose him.
Yep.
Albeit maybe not who, but he'll definitely be on alert now.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll put 3 persona in that. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty monumental because this is the first time that anyone in the game or the story in general, right, has been able to know that it's in the process of happening and have a chance of stopping it, right? It's always before it's just like, oh, I guess he died.
All right. Here goes.
Good luck, Joser. Oh, man, that was so bad.
Yep.
That was
I'm still going to put in a fate just because I want to put fate and faith, but
yeah, makes sense.
Wow, no 6s either.
Yeah,
That's insane. Wow.
That was really bad. Now we hope that if we roll 6s a bajillion times. Wouldn't that be nice?
Hey, it happened once today.
It's true.
Yeah. Remaining of like 5.
5, yep. No cigar. You did get a 6, but
yeah,
it stops there. Yeah, I think Joser, I know what this means, right? You fail to do it, and now Seraphime knows you're here. He knows you are here, right? It's not just like if you had succeeded, he would have known, like they would have known that someone interfered. But now it's like you get a moment here, Joser, where your power is like your power, not just, it's his Hagiel's power. It's trying to like make a barrier in between Hopsef and Seraphim, and Seraphim looks at it, swats it down like a bug, and then you just like in your mind's eye, you just see the face of your brother, right? This like dark kind of necromancer looking guy, just like staring into your soul, and he just says, "I see you, brother." And then everything goes black, and you probably pass out for a second, and then like come to, and everyone's like looking at you like, "What just happened? What?" But you know, like you're in danger.
Yeah, and then you'll like reach into his pack. He's probably got he's got both his niece and bodyguard, and bodyguard there.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
Sadiq, yeah.
Yeah, he just like looks over at Thalia and goes, "I need the tent."
Now?
And yeah. And so they'll probably like grab out the tent,
Yep.
he spreads it out on the ground, and he's like, "I still need you for this." It's like
To the
gesturing.
priests.
Yeah.
And then I think
And
the
he's
bishop
just
at that
like-
point just like stops. He's like, "Joseph, you have to explain what just happened."
He like takes a short breath, and I think for the first time we actually see, like, we've seen Joseph slightly emotional when he was like leaving them, and now like we actually see like a couple of tears streaking down his face, and he just says, "Hopseth is dead," and then just turns back to the work.
Yeah.
Like continues spreading out the tent and starts praying again.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's like, I think the rest of the priests will help you. I think there might be a role to like get the bishop to help you with this. Like that's probably just an ugly truth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably worst possible outcome.
Yeah.
I got dead.
I just think ugly truth, but there is a chance that it won't like actually convince him to help you in this moment.
Yeah, I'll do the I'll do the what's it called, ugly truth. If I need 6s exploded, I'll
and honestly, Joser is probably exactly right. Hopsef is probably instantly dead after that moment because Hopsef probably like lowered his guard as the barrier came up between him and Seraphim, right? And he was like, "Oh, what's happening? Oh, and someone's helping me." And then when it went away, he just got destroyed.
Yep. So event base obstacle 1. No additional on. Barely, but
there you go. Oh yeah, because you're still learning it.
Yep.
Very good. Yeah, he just
at least, well, not anymore. I just got it with that roll.
Nice. That seems like an apt test to earn ugly truth on. A god just died. All right, sounds good. So the bishop is helping you with whatever you're doing next.
Yep. I'm gonna try and consecrate. Gonna try and consecrate the tent. Make a tabernacle.
Mm-hmm. And so the idea with this, let me be clear about what's happening here. So this is just to protect from zombies, right? It's just like they can't approach.
So it'll protect me from zombies and demons of power 6 or lower.
Okay.
Or possibly higher, since I've got actual help to think.
Yeah.
Usually it's faith. I've got 4 advantages. I'm going to put my last couple of persona in it as well. Base obstacle 6, I believe, to consecrate my tent. Wow. Wish I got that on the other one.
He just got 16 successes on a faith roll. Yeah, wow. I
wish have some additional benefit.
Because it's automatically open end and he just kept rolling 6s over and over and over again. Man, you got 3 failed dice in that whole pile.
Like immediately, probably the guilt of failing to protect. Just like Joser is incensed and just pours all his emotion into, okay, well, if I can't protect him, I am dang well sure I'm protecting myself and Maya and my brother. Like, this is it now.
I think what you've done is you have, because I mean 16 freaking successes. That's the highest anyone has ever rolled in any game of Burning Wheel I've ever been a part of. I think. Unless Jared might have rolled higher, but he cheated. So
Yeah, well, Jade's point on 50 dice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also David, but he also cheated. we didn't do it right. So I think what you've done, Joser, is you have made your tabernacle, right? If you can move it around if you want to, but you've also made the entire quarter where Hagiel worshippers are safe from demons and zombies, and you've also made the entire foreign quarter safe from demons and zombies, right? Like, there's
which one was the second one?
The foreign quarter where Maya and them are. Yeah,
Maya
right. So
yep.
Just everything that you want protected is now safe from demons and zombies. Like, they will not be able to pass. I think there are probably some in the Hagiel section of the city, right, as porters and stuff go around, and they just instantly disintegrate, right? Mm-hmm. And it's we probably have a moment. Go ahead.
If you'll permit me.
Yeah.
I think, like, Hagiel, literally Hagiel turns around. Like, he's like full bedecked in, like, his robes are actually
glowing
floating
aura,
slightly with wind from nowhere. They like, he's got the ones that, because usually when he gets to like 7 or 8 or 9, he'll get like traits or like visible manifestations of his power, and I think they are currently there. They'll fade, of course, but he's got like the lightning scars up and around his fingers and over his things and around his collar, and he's like straight up, eyes glowing. I am Hagiel. Probably the scarab like has popped off and grown to about 3 times its usual size.
Yeah.
It's like defense mode.
Yeah, and so you say that to them. I am Hagiel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's probably like, right, like, I am Hagiel and I will protect you, right? Like, sort of a thing. Yeah. So yeah, Maya, you guys might notice this too, because I think like there may be a few zombies in the camp for whatever reason, because there are people coming in and out for various reasons. There's not, you guys.
That'd be pretty funny if one of them hired one of the zombies to like help like move some things, and they were like, dang it.
Yeah, you know what? You know what it is? The platform that Joser was having be built, right? He hired a zombie to help out, and it just disintegrates. So, and I think we cut from there and we go to the Temple of Seraphim, right? And we see a cadre of priests of Seraphim, right? The hierarchs who are doing this ritual, and they like finished it and they're like, oh, cool, that worked. That was faster than we thought. And then, so we are backing up in time a little bit, right? We see this, they finish the ritual, and then they all hear Seraphim's voice in their head basically say, kill the Church of Hagiel now, right? And we see zombies everywhere in the city just turn and like start to march towards the quarter where the Hagiel worshippers are, and then you do the protection thing, and a couple of them that were crossing the border just disintegrate, and the rest of them just like stop, and then the priests of Seraphim hear the voice again and basically just say, the church of he is stronger than I thought. Censor the church. They are not allowed. No one is allowed in and out of that quarter. I am taking control of Setkis. And the hierarchs are all just like,
quickly.
The hierarchs are just terrified, right? They're just like, all fall on their face because they usually don't hear his voice in their heads, right? And they're all just like, holy crap. Okay, sounds good. And we just probably cut from there, right?
Yeah. We probably see like Joseph walking out of the temple, probably with at least some of like his trusted lieutenants, or like the ones that were like most loyal to him already, and he's just walking out. We see probably like this slowly fading glow. We like zoom up above the city and just see this slowly fading glow marching towards where the Sinian like leadership is. And as he opens the door, he says, "I may have fast-tracked things. Sorry."
And yeah, Malekith just like swears vulgarly under his breath, and we just like hard cut there, right? Poor Maya never gets to do her stupid play.
Sorry.
I put in all this work.
I know.
And it just gets derailed by the gods.
Again.
It's fine.
How many six?
Very nice. Well, let's cut from there. I think we probably are done with Joser and Maya for this session because that was pretty climactic.
So, guys, hearts
Well,
and minds.
sorry, I ruined your debate.
Well, I don't think he needs a debate now.
I was say I am Hagiel.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
follow me.
Yeah. I mean, he probably will still have some sort of like conversation that'll happen there, but yeah, it's not going to look the same for sure. Cool. So let's cut over to Avra and spend our last bit here.
The arts always get thwarted.
I know they do. So Avra, you you were navigating your way through the mountains with Citus. Hashtag oops. You were navigating through the mountains with Citus and Celadon, right? You had just gotten a new bird named Balthazar, who was sort of your friend, but not completely won over yet. And I think we pick up where Avra is appearing at the insight of the fortress that the Brass League lives in. Right, so you're deep in the mountains. There is like this big red walled fortress, just looming in front of you. And Citus probably turns to the two of you and just says, "This is it, the Brass League, the most powerful, daring, and hopefully persuadable group of mercenaries in Nima." And then he says, "Thanks for navigating us here, Avra."
Yeah, she nods.
Yeah, so Celadon turns to you, Avra, and basically says, all right, well, when we get in there, I'll be introducing you as the Princess of Sinia, and hopefully that will win us some points. But from there, it's just introductions and trying to get a foot in the door to even talk to them in the first place. And I think you guys just walk up to the door, and, the guards hail you, and you talk for a little while, and I think they at least will let you in the door to talk to people without a roll. Because I mean, they're a bunch of mercenaries. They're not worried about 3 people coming in, right? They probably should be because Citus is literally a superhero, but
They don't know.
yeah, exactly. They don't know that. So you guys walk in. You're greeted by the Nemans are a little bit darker skinned. I think they're more closely related with the Setkis people, and they tend to have darker skin. I think where Joser is originally from, the city-state that got destroyed, they're a little bit more on the Middle Eastern kind of light brown sort of skin. So yeah, dark skin mercenaries. They look tough, and a couple of them tell you to wait in a room. And eventually, a man walks in, and this guy's name is Beirut. This is the captain of the Brass League that Citus told you about earlier. And Beirut is played by Chadwick Boseman. So right, we see Black Panther guy walk out, and he has armor, like a scimitar in a holster. And he walks in, waves off a soldier who's waves off the soldiers who were flanking him. And he says, "Leave us for a moment." And they step out of the room. And he turns back to the 3 of you and he says, "You've come a long way just to talk to the Brass League. May I ask who you are?" And Celadon kind of looks at you, kind of expectantly, go ahead and introduce. It probably makes more sense for Avra to introduce herself, right, as the princess.
He said he was going to introduce me.
He did, yeah. Okay, I'll have him introduce me. I'll introduce you. Did you just roll fate on the faith roll to see if you got even more? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm low on fate if I'm going to gray shade it eventually, and so I wanted to put more fate in it, but I get
total
more,
roll 18, man. So yeah, Celadon looks to you, Avra, and then says, "May I introduce the Princess of Sinia, Avra, the daughter of the late Thestios, the Prophet King." And Beirut raises an eyebrow. And he says, now why in the world would a princess hike all the way to Nima just to talk to me? I must admit, I am very confused.
So we're here to basically hire them to...
Basically, you need an army of mercenaries to go win back Sinia.
Okay. Yeah, she steps up and has the bird on her shoulder as kind of like a just like the display of power kind of thing.
Sure, of course.
And
Balthasar looks decidedly uncomfortable. He doesn't really understand what's going on. He's like, I don't know what you said to stay on the shoulder, but I don't really know why.
And yeah, she just steps up and says, I'm sure you're aware that Sinia is not in the best of times at the moment.
We are quite a ways from Sinia, but news does travel, yes.
Yes. We want to hire you to help us take it back.
Really now? Well, that would be a new one. How much exactly are you willing to pay for this little adventure?
So we were basically just planning on like taking Sinia back and then paying them.
Yes. That's the trouble you're running into, right? Is that no one wants to risk it for that, right?
Yeah. Well, if you can successfully take back the city, a good portion of its riches will be yours.
No. That is not how we do things here at the Brass League. I need payment up front. I need assurances that my men will be taken care of, even if your mission here is a disaster. You must understand, I have my men to worry about. Of course, we can do half now, half later, if that is amenable to you.
Why would we pay you for a job up front that we don't know is even going to succeed?
Well, do you know it's not going to succeed because you doubt my men's abilities, or because there's a danger you're not warning me about? I've heard rumors of Sinia, of course, but I would like a little bit more information on what is exactly going on in the city before I sign anything. Now the question is, how do you play down what's happening without lying?
Yeah. I think she kind of like shoots a side eye at Celadon, like, help me out here.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think Celadon says, as I have told the various merchant lords in Nima to no avail, unfortunately, they are not as daring and brave as the Brass League. And Beirut gives him a look like, all right, flattery is not gonna cut it, but okay. And Celadon continues and he says, I'll be honest, and he like looks at Aver and Citus. It's not good. But you're the only people you're the only people who we think can actually handle something like this. The city is under the control of a cult. A very powerful cult. Led by a woman, her sister, who has the power of the gods on her side. The power of dead gods, to be exact. Beru raises an eyebrow. How can a god die? This sounds like nonsense to me. And Celadon kind of frowns. Because, like, I think in Sinia, it's kind of like common knowledge that, like, there's a weird dead god thing going on. But apparently not, at least not this guy hasn't heard of it. And Caledon says, let's just put it this way. There are gods that have been corrupted, I think. And no matter how it shakes out, I don't know the details. Basically, they're much more powerful and much more dangerous. They have servants called Jinn, and he just Beirut just laughs. It's like, oh, you're telling me ghost stories now. Well, I can see why this would be an impossible mission. It is impossible. It doesn't exist. And Caledon's just shaking his head. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's real. And he's like, look,
cakewalk then.
Is there any way that I could like do something to prove from the Irida that this is happening?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you at least have a magic prophecy book. You know what? It would be a good idea, Avra. You just like do a prophecy about him. Figure out a prophecy about him, right? Like,
yeah.
See if there's something that would like prove to him that like you're a prophetess at the very least, right?
Right.
He's like, don't get me wrong. I understand the power of the gods. My sister is a relic maker, but still.
The laptop's still dead, so I can't actually roll anything.
Yeah. Let's.
So I don't know what roll this would even be.
I know. I need to check. Good question.
Is there a prophecy roll?
There is not.
Wow, really?
So the trait that you have for this is Dreamer, which is like basically I just give you like visions and things when it's relevant.
Right.
But I think if you want to like find something, I'm thinking maybe a doctrine roll, and you can fork in heraldry because that's what we know the prophecy stuff involves, right? Like the weird symbols of the heraldry stuff. And then you can fork in read because like you're reading the Irida. So if you want to try that
oratory,
way,
since it's more of a performer thing to the audience.
if she wasn't caring too much about the validity of it and just more about the performance, then maybe that would be the skill. But like, I think if she actually wants to like discover a fact that is true, that she can
I was
then
more
use,
meaning as a fork.
I don't think a fork, because I think it would have to be a separate thing after this, right? Like to actually perform it. But so yeah, I'm thinking doctrine with heraldry and read. What do you want this fact to be? Like if Avra was going to make it up right now, or at least Carly was going to make it up right now, what would it be?
So is this just like something about him in general that I would have no way to know of?
Yeah, something like that,
like
or
something that's
I actually
going
have a perfect idea for this. If you'd rather just make the roll and see if it happens.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure, cool. Because this is actually part of the thing that I was going to maybe send a dream about later on anyway. So, we'll see if you get it at the perfect moment. So does Avra just like, while Caledon's trying to like explain this, she just like goes into her pack, pulls out one of the books of the Irida and just like puts it on a table and just like opens it up.
Yeah.
And Citus just starts smirking and looking at you as you do this. Actually, Citus can probably help you with this. Might as well. Cool. He hasn't done anything else in this conversation. Let's see. I'll have him give you.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, I should have looked at him first because he could probably do something way more.
I mean, yeah, but like magic does exist in this world, so it's not like like he could summon a magic sword, but also, to be honest, that's probably a thing you could do with the enchanting magic on this planet. So have a sword that you can.
I'm saying like he could probably do something to convince them that like.
Yeah, maybe.
This is what's actually going on in Sinia, kind of thing.
Yeah. Let's see. He is gonna give you. He'll give you 2 dice for Strain of Farsight. It's basically a magic skill that lets him see into the future. Mostly it's just about seeing things that are in front of you, but you can also use it to see into the future. So yeah, you can get 2 dice from him. I don't know if Caledon has any skills that would help you in this moment. But at the very least, Citus steps over and helps you read it, right? helps you find the right thing. And I think Caledon is probably just like distracted with trying to like talk to Beirut about the whole thing. So, yeah. So go ahead and make, or I guess I have to make this for you. Yeah, doctrine roll with 4 dice. And I think the ob is going to be, what is the doctrine? What are the doctrine obs usually? Naming an obscure saint is as high as it goes, and that's an ob 3. Let's say ob 4. So it's going to be difficult, but possible. All right, you got a 6. You have. I guess you're not looking at roll 20 right now, so you got 3 successes out of 4. You got a 6, so you can spend 1 or 2 fate. You have 8 fate, so.
Yeah, I'll spend 2.
Okay. Sounds good. I will throw that in doctrine, and we will spend les fate. Oh, yikes. That's terrible. Well, okay. So I don't know. Is this just like Avra reads and nothing happens, or like you see too many confusing things? I'm trying to think of what makes the most sense here. What would you think a good failure for Avra in this moment would be, right? Like, is it she just like starts reading and doesn't find any? Maybe she like looks at it fine enough, but there isn't anything to find.
I feel like maybe like she finds something, but it's like vague enough that it's like this isn't gonna convince anyone of anything.
Yeah. So I think what you see something about there's like talk about a stone or something like or maybe it's the plural stone as in like the stone like as an adjective, right? Stone something. But you can't get any further than that. It's just like something about rock, I guess, but I don't know what that means, so I don't really know how to bring it up to him.
Right.
You have a hunch
there's
that
something about rocks. Hopseth definitely dies today, but that's not relevant.
right? Yeah, and that could have been a thing, right? But
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't think that's happened yet, because I have an idea for this. But there is something else that you almost see but don't really get the information on. So I think you're looking at this, right? And then Beirut just like eventually just says, "What is she doing?" And Caledon like looks to you, and this would be the moment where you would like say the thing if you had something to say. But what do you do instead?
Yeah, I think she just sighs and closes the book and is like, nothing, and puts it back in her pack. Like, this isn't useful right now.
Yeah. So like everybody's kind of glancing at each other. And I think maybe what happens is Citus like looks at Beirut and says, I believe that there is a chance that we can convince you of the validity of these claims and the validity of the riches at the end of it. But perhaps it would do everyone some good if we took a break. Would you kindly give us hospitality here before we leave? Just a room or 2 would be fine. And we can speak again tomorrow. It's already late in the day. And I think I'll have Citus make a roll here and see if that's amenable to him. Man, he has so many skills that I don't remember what they do because they're all magical. Let's see. What in the heck does the Song of Bonding do? Oh, I think it's like the sword bonding thing that elves do. I guess he'll roll oratory. It seems slightly off of the situation, but maybe he's just making the announcement to the room. I don't know. He doesn't actually have persuasion for some reason. I'm gonna have him roll oratory. I think it makes sense. And to see, this guy's will is 4, fortunately, because he's a soldier. There you go. It should have been higher than that, but he at least got 4 successes. Cool. So Beirut like nods and he says, "Yes, of course. That seems fine. I didn't mean to laugh. I know that you have had a hard time losing your city, and yes, that would be well. I will have some soldiers show you to some quarters, and we can talk again in the morning. I'm sure that there is an arrangement that can be come to here if we put our heads together." And Citus nods. "Your hospitality is appreciated, and your graciousness is appreciated more." And then I think Beirut just like waits a couple soldiers and, takes you guys to some quarters. And I think probably where we can just end is you guys are kind of settling down. You're probably talking with Keladon and Citus about like plans to actually convince them tomorrow. But we can figure that out for next time. We're running at the end of the hour here. But I think the last thing we'll do is Avra goes to sleep, right? And she has a dream. In the thing that or at least you get a bigger vision. Oh, actually, no. This is what happens. I was gonna give you something else, but you failed the roll to find the thing out that I was gonna tell you. So I'm gonna have the dream say something else. So you, Avra, dream about Joser, right? You see the whole thing that happened with Joser on the other side of the continent.
Have I met Joser?
Yes. Yeah, he was helping.
We established that I was at least part of healing you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, you would recognize him as the doctor who helped me not be sick anymore. From
right.
Cerulean plague.
But I would have no idea that he's actually a god.
Exactly. Yeah. And so you see this whole thing. You knew he was like a priest of Hagiel too, but like.
Mm-hmm.
It's this whole thing transpires in your dreams, and you're kind of confused about it because you're like not sure if it's actually happening or if it was going to happen in the future or if it's just symbolic of something else. Right. But the thing that's like clearer to you at the end of it is you see past what Joser was able to see or what we were able to see on screen before with Seraphim, right? And you see Hopsteph die, right? You see this kind of slight man just like get stabbed with like some sort of black spear, right? That's kind of the visualization you're seeing. And then he crumbles to ash, and you see him on the dark side of the planet, right? You see Tartuit, what you guys would consider basically it's your version of hell, right? Or the underworld. And you see him kind of like come into another form, and it's kind of like a weird ash gray skin, right? He's kind of like a gray ash version of himself on the other side. And before he was really scared, right? As when he died. And now he kind of wakes up and looks around, and there's a bunch of other like ash gods who are like greeting him onto the other side. And we can see in his eyes that like something has changed. And he like looks around and he says, "There are so many of us. It is only a matter of time, is it not? Before we win." And we see Nicaea. I think you can just recognize her figure from Doctrine and stuff, right? And this is the god that primarily Ophelia worships, right? The goddess of animal and mischief. She steps forward and she puts a hand to his like cheek and says, "Oh, my brother, you have no idea." And then you kind of jump back and we see Nessa and Hur, right? We see the goddess of, you see now all 4 of the like portfolios that her and her brother had before, right? She still is holding on to metalwork and strength, right? In a sense, like there's another sense in which I guess the power is kind of split now, right? Because Hopsteph on the other side has like a kind of dead god version of the metalwork and strength. He's kind of gone back to that original thing that he had. Or no, you know what? I think it's probably he has half of the music and arts probably got split in half is probably what it was, right? And so Hopsteph has, on the other side, he has like the kind of dead god half of the music and arts. Nessa and Hur got shoved on her whatever remains on this side of the planet of that power. And she's struggling to hold it all together, right? And you see, at the very last, like you know this is happening. You kind of understand the context of it. You're like, okay, this god is dying, and this other goddess is trying to hold it all together. And if she dies, this could be pretty bad because all the enchanting that happens on this planet, the like relic making stuff, which Nima is a big part of, is a combination of both of their godness, right? They're the gods who grant this ability. And so if both of them go, who knows what will happen to enchanting, right? As a system. It's going to change. Something will probably go wrong with enchanted magic items and stuff. And that will throw Nima into a whole big confusion. And the last thing you see, Avra, and you know that there's a key here that like if you can talk to this person and figure out what they know and like figure out where they fit into the puzzle, you know that you could probably stop Nessa and Hur from dying too, because she's like the next target, right? And the person you see a dark-skinned woman, and you can tell that she's in this same fortress, right? And I think you know instinctively this is the sister that Beirut spoke of. And of course, for pattern's sake, this is Letitia Wright playing this person, right? From Black Panther, his sister.
Yeah.
And she is tinkering with like some magic item, right? She's trying to like put something together, and there's like a little owl on her shoulder. And she's just frowning, and she like looks up as if she sensed that like Hopsef died, but she doesn't like know how to put it into words. And she's just like, it's like she can tell that something happened. And she looks to her owl and she just says, I need to remember the owl's name. Her name is Arisha, by the way. And she turns to her owl and she says, Zim, did you feel that? And Zim just like turns to her, like cocks its head and hoots. And she says, maybe it was nothing. And then we kind of see what she was working on, and it's like this big kind of black blue amulet that has like a piece of really like midnight black stone in the center of it. And she's like looking at it carefully and then polishing it off. And then we just hard cut there. So Avra knows like she can probably stop this other god from dying if she talks to this woman. You don't know how yet, but like that's the secret. Cool. There you go. That is our session of Death Unto Madness today. Wow, that changed a lot of things. Yeah. Poor Maya.
Imagine if I didn't find out that information about Hopsef dying.
Yep.
Insane. Will I ever get my plate made? Find out next time.
Well, hey, we can make it in the Sinian part.
That's true.
Without any zombies coming in and being audience members.
Because at this point, Ben is just going to get brought there. Like, it's just, the meaning is just lost at that point. Like, I think we just got to cut our losses.
Yeah.
Post
so I think we're going to have to leave Setkiss soon.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
This is currently protected. Post credit, I think, like we've got the family in the like in one of the rooms of the Sinian spot, and I think Josa just walks over and like hugs Thalia and says, "There's probably something you should know."
Yeah. Nice.
Maya is going to go off on Josa. She's going to be like, we trusted you with this thing, and you did this without telling us what the plan was, and now look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I did it without my knowledge either. I didn't know I was going to go overboard.
You didn't know that trying to stop a god from dying was going to cause people to know that you're okay.
All right.
I am incredibly sneaky.
Yeah, okay.
Let's go ahead and do Artha. So first off with Alpheus. I feel terrible for getting Ben kidnapped, and I will do everything I can to keep him safe and return him to his mother and father and establish him as king. The establish him as king part, obviously, he was working at, so fate there. We need military help, therefore I will convince General Spiridon to help us. He did it. Persona. I will get Titan killed. He tried. So fateful. Let's see. Any instincts, traits? I don't think so. Because like nothing here got him in trouble really. So I think it's 2 fate in a persona for him, unless there was anything else we wanted to give him for like embodiment or humor or right skill, right time, anything anyone can think of in that avenue. Anything stand out with Alpheus today? Look at Artha. Was there a moment that we like laughed with Alpheus? I don't know if there was.
Oh, this one was kind of a serious one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll give him embodiment. I think he did a really good. I mean, even being sick, he did a really good job with the dual wits. So we'll give him that. I think. Cool. Joser. Hagiel's powers must be increased. If his light is to pierce the coming darkness, I will win the hearts and minds by debating Kalik. Nope.
Well, I didn't.
Alpheus' stuff took way longer than I thought, so. And honestly, we wouldn't have done the debate anyway because this thing with Maya came up, so. Yeah. If I'm to maintain myself, I must be aware of all the variables. I will talk to Demetrius' friend about assisting Ben Asher. You did not do that either. I was imagining it would be very quick, but honestly, I don't know if is it going to happen at this point.
No, probably not.
Yeah. In order to advance my plans, I need a place of safety. I will consecrate a tabernacle. You did it.
I did it. Yay.
Persona point. Always pray for greater insightfulness before entering a social situation. I never reveal the true intentions behind my actions unless they're related to me. #oops. Yeah. Okay, we'll give you fate for that one. Anything else here? I don't think so. Certainly
being strange and just wandering off.
Yeah, that's
did
true.
Lead to me ruining everything.
I'll give you a fate point for that. Yeah.
I don't know what constitutes beyond the call because I mean I tried to help no matter the cost, but I don't think I succeeded at helping anything really.
Yeah, deeds points are something to consider now that we're getting down to it. Let's see. I'll give you a right skill, right time. You had some really good faith, faith in general, and then other like astrology and stuff were very helpful this time. How would we give you a persona for Mold Breaker? Right, for going beyond the bounds of the character and yeah, because I mean, you basically you just decided, all right, sounds good. I am Hagiel. That's what I have to do right now, right? Yeah. So I don't know if I don't think it's deeds point worthy necessarily. Yep. But at least Mold Breaker. All right, cool. Maya.
I will find a way to earn more funds. I don't know. I don't think
did.
I fully I feel like I did, but it's not gonna matter now.
Yeah, but it's not your fault, so I'll give you your persona.
Thanks. I will learn more about the gods to fill in the missing piece. So
I'll give you a fate
about Indu.
I was gonna say I'll give you a fate point for it because the first part of the belief still really mattered.
Yeah.
And then you did help Malekith build connections in Sedkis with the hierarch, even though it's not your fault that it's gonna fall apart now. So another.
So I get a persona for that too. Okay.
I'm gonna give you a fate point for never back down from a challenge. Right? You could have just let the whole thing with what's her face with Damaris go. Right? You could have not been involved and. You're like, no.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I will if I need a fellow performer, I will give him my assistance. That one makes more sense for this case.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that got me in trouble because I wanted to help her, and then it just became this. Oh my gosh, this actually relates more to me than you think it does.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, rather the people I'm around.
Yeah. Cool.
Probably going to have to look at a trait vote soon with how
Yeah.
drastically all how
Yeah.
people are being revealed.
Honestly, it might be a good time to do it next time, actually. Because Alpheus just found out that he was this is his grandfather. Joser revealed himself as Hagiel. Yeah, maybe we should do maybe a couple more sessions, maybe 1 or 2 more, because Alpheus actually like getting away from Titan and being able to go back to Sinia with the general. There's still the thing of like how does the general raise an army and stuff, and that feels like more of a point to do trait vote is once that's completed, once Joser and Maya figure out what they're going to do in Set Kiss, if they're just going to leave or what. But yeah, we're close for sure. And then I'm trying to think if there's any other Maya extra stuff that we wanted to do here. Did anyone have any humor moments today? That
I mean, Joser.
just
obviously.
Joser. Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, Joser pretty much gets
sticking
that every
the head
time.
out of the door
Yeah,
to look
yeah.
at the sun. you know.
I my favorite part was when he is like, Hofstef is dead. Okay. Right. So yeah, humor fate point for you, Joser. And then is there anything else from Maya that we wanted to do here?
Could I argue that I well, okay, no, that's for belief and instinct. Never mind.
Trying to think, did you have the right skill, right time? I don't know if you did necessarily. Yeah, I think that might be it for Maya.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, Avra, last but not least. I believe with the help of Situs, I can stop what is coming. I will work with him to find answers in the Irida. Hey, you tried. Fate point. You're trying to assist Caledon with his work in Nima. Hey, you tried. Fate point. You didn't make any rolls for your bird though, so nothing there. Consulting answers from the Irida didn't get you into trouble. And I don't know if the rest of your traits did anything particularly special this time either. So I think it's just 2 fate for Avra. We need to do some more stuff with Avra next time. We need to like Joser and Maya are gonna have plenty to take care of, and so will Alpheus, but I think we should probably try to focus on Avra next time. Get some Avra stuff done.
Agreed.
Avra hasn't been able to do a whole lot, so cool. I think that is it for our session today. Very exciting. It's one of those things where like you never really see it coming.
Every session I have to change my beliefs because they get completely turned upside down.
Yep.
Mine have just stayed the same for a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as
My
Joser...
beliefs are damage control the damage, stop the blow eating. That's the next set of beliefs.
Because like this is the thing, right? It
control the gods, control the chaos.
Because the consecration is up. Like they can't just kick you out, right? Like the zombies are how they do everything. So they can't send an army to do anything to you, right? But they can say no food. Right? And obviously Joser, like there's agriculture stuff that the Church of Hagiel already does. There's a way you can survive, but there would be like a whole big, but also the tension with the city, there comes a point where something will have to change. But there can be a little bit of a stalemate for now, technically, as you guys sort out what you want to do. So
maybe a new debate is needed. Maybe we need to get more people on the Church of Hagiel and we need to convert the people. Right?
Yeah.
Look how dumb your zombies are. They were killed off by a simple little ritual.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to follow the real god, Hagiel, who's here, by the way.
Honestly,
which god do you want to support? The one that likes seeing everyone die, or the one that likes people being alive? You're alive. You'd probably like me.
Yeah, honestly, this could be Joser decides to take over Setkes, right? That could be the play.
Yeah. I'll have to
create a new play about the god who came down from the heavens.
The boy on the mountain. Yeah, there you go.
The boy who lived.
Yeah. Very fun. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I really need to do those the solo session now with all the other people because things have been happening. We need to know what's been happening with the other 3 main focal point characters, which are Ophelia, Cyrillus, and Isidore in Caruzia. But hey, it's Memorial weekend, so maybe I'll do some solo stuff. Okie dokie. I think that's it. I think we're out. Thanks playing, guys.
I'm sad I didn't get a faith test.
It's true. All of that and no tests. All right. That's it. We're out. Adios.